Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to another edition of The Gray Area. I am Mr. Bennett, joined by my partner, as always, Grooming and Reviews 101, aka The Ghost of Sparta, aka Peter, aka Coyotes. What's good, my brother? How are you doing?
What's going on, man? How was your weekend?
Weekend was busy, man. It's just grunt work. I got out there with my power washer, and I think I was just possessed. I hit everything I could. I was out there over 6.5 hours with that power washer, and just cleaning up stuff. And it was raining too, so I had a raincoat on, had my high boots on and whatnot, but I was just hitting stuff, man. Out there, it's just one of those weekends,
Hmm.
especially with my job. It's like the weekends sometimes get so compressed in. You got to get it in when you get it in. And so yeah, spent quite a lot of time doing that. In fact, I didn't even work out. Saturday is usually my day to work out, and I didn't even do that. I said, you know what? I got my workout set up. I'll train again on Wednesday, this leg day. I just pushed it, pushed my upper body day off until next week, and so we're resumed in. So I decided, you know what, be smart and don't just try to push through. Don't be a hero, and just give my body a chance to recover. A lot of times you don't realize, especially when you're doing that manual work,
Hmm.
garden or shoveling or whatever, you don't realize until you lay down how taxing that is on the body. But it's interesting how a lot of that goes hand in hand. I mean, being fit, being in the gym helps you do those tasks better. You're holding that spray gun up for several hours and whatnot, and you just don't realize how much, at the end of the day, like your forearms are hurting
Yeah, I
from all.
actually a buddy of mine. Yeah, a buddy of mine. A buddy of mine has a power wash company, so I worked with him a couple times.
Mhm.
Uh, and I power washed his trucks he used to do, like semi trucks, and that machine goes over 1,000 psi's. I don't know why he needs 1,000 psi. Steven said he's never going over 80, but he has it over 1,000. What anyway?
Mhm.
That machine kicks your ass. Definitely. I'm not.
Yeah.
No wait. And physical labor, my job is physical labor. So I'm running back up and down all day long. So I get it. If you're not used to it, it kicks your ass fast.
Indeed. Yeah, definitely. Like I said, all that. I mean, I use said in the past when we had the snowstorms, I get the snow plow out there, and again, a lot of times it's like you're using it, you don't realize how much you're doing this. So, like a lot of times, I used to put on my Rocky 4 music. Rocky's training in Siberia. I'm putting that music
I
on
actually
while
that's
I'm.
one of my favorite workout songs.
Yeah, yeah. Definitely, I put it out there, put that on and whatnot. That helps me get through it also. But again, at the end of the day, it's like I may take like when I lay down and take a nap or whatever. I'm waking up like 8 hours later. It just totally just depletes everything. And when I'm pulling off, because like I dress in layers when I'm out in the cold. And it's like when I pull everything off, it's just like a shower. It just water's just dripping off. So you burn so many calories when you're doing that kind of stuff. And that's basically my cut. If I mow my lawn, especially once it gets warmer, I put a weight vest on, and so
Mhm.
I'll put like up to 50 pounds on a weight vest, and I'll just mow my lawn for like an hour. And again, it's 900 calories just burnt just doing that with the weight vest on. So it's definitely there's other ways you can kind of get around to it. I mean, it doesn't build muscle, but certainly when it comes to your endurance, it definitely has benefits. So if you want to burn some fat or some just get some things out of your system, it's definitely good for that.
And people don't realize how much you actually burn when you're doing labor stuff.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
if we definitely when you're not used to it, you're not doing it on a daily basis. It's like I'm doing it. And when you're like your job is stationary, like yourself,
Hmm.
whole different world.
Well,
I think
that's the thing too, and I think earlier generations, I think that was because we talk about the like the fattening of culture. In fact, let me ask you. First of all, again, thank you everyone for joining us tonight. Certainly, I don't want to be an unhospitable host. Just salute to the folks who are coming in. Randy, thank you for joining us tonight, and then Nia, thank you also for always supporting us. Stacy B79, always backing us up. Thank you for coming through here and supporting us tonight. So yeah, so we appreciate you guys coming in. I see it scrolling at the bottom. You see our cash apps. If you feel so inclined, so we appreciate anything you give us in our cash apps. But most importantly, any things that you can add, super chats you can give for the Black Man Unfiltered Network. Support the channel, help us grow. Again, I mean, in the shows that we've been dropping in the last few weeks have been, just straight fire, and so really some quality content discussions that need to be had. And so anything that you guys can do to help grow and share, share the content, share the channel, to make sure that this platform grows, we'd appreciate any support that you give in that area. So again, so salute to everybody for joining us tonight. But yeah, I mean I said the work that's demanded when you're doing that kind of stuff is can really have a profound influence on your health and the things that you're doing. So I definitely agree with that. But what were you asking? What were you just asking me a bit earlier?
What was I going with that question? Yeah, when your job is stationary like yours,
Yeah, thanks.
It's completely different world when you
It
actually
is.
go labor. Go ahead.
That's what I was gonna ask you, because I mean I think that people recognize, at least in this country, and again you can probably share from a Greek perspective, there's been a fattening of the culture over several decades. And a lot of people, there's certain reasons for that. A lot of people say, well, in the 70s they started using things like high fructose corn syrup. They started using trans fats and things like that, and just with the diets of people, people started to fat. But also, I think that the type of work changed. I mean, yes, you've always had like a corporate or sit down job environment, but you had a lot of labor jobs, a lot of works in the factory, on the assembly line, in the fields, or whatever. Like really, labor you had to do with even a housewife. I mean, when you think about, for people who want to downplay that, you get up at the crack of dawn and you're doing all that housework, chores and whatnot around the house, doing that. I mean, you're doing that all day. You're cooking dinner and whatnot. It's a load. And so for a lot of people back then, you didn't see a lot of obese people back in those times. But now that we have more modern conveniences, now you have more people who are taking, desk jobs. It's like all the more reason why people need to make an intention to train, to work out, because you don't have those menial tasks that add up over the course of a day. The number of steps, like no one ever talked back in the day about, oh, I got to take 10,000 steps a day or 7,000 steps, or whatever the thing is. You just at the end of the day, if we had step counters or whatnot back then, you might have did 10 or 15,000 steps. If you were like a postman or a postwoman, forget it. I mean, you probably did 20,000 steps a day delivering mail. So no one had to keep track of that. But the fact that the nature of work changed, where more people are sitting down, more people are remote, more people are not being physical, you have to make yourself physical in order to make sure you stay ahead of the curve. So I think that's why you had the explosion, I think, in gym memberships in the 80s with, pumping iron coming out, and, fit culture, and you had the Bally's fitness and all those revolutions back in the day, is that people need to realize that, look, I need to get up and move. If I'm not going to be taking care of 6 or 7 kids like back in the day, or if I'm not going to be in the factory, I'm not going to be in the field. Yeah, I got to have a reason to get up and move. But the couch, the lazy boy chair and whatnot, that the gaming, all those things that just keep people just bound. Even at work, I have one of those workstations that raises and elevates.
Oh, so that.
Yeah. So when I go in, what I try to do is, when I go into the office, the first thing I do is I try to spend the first 2 hours standing. So I have one of those anti-fatigue mats, and I stand on that for a couple hours, and then I'll take a break, and then I'll do it again in the afternoon, where I stand up for at least an hour, and then come back to the to sit down again. But to sit stationary for 6 and 7 hours straight without, just to get up to go to the bathroom or whatever, it's definitely a little bit different. And so for a lot of people, you take for granted what a lot of that physical labor did do for you. And so you figure with that, with the diet, with everything, I could definitely see why people are fattening. But I guess the question I have for you, and before I ask the question, again, tonight, ladies and gentlemen, this is our call-in show. All right. So me and Grooming, we're just going to keep the conversation moving, just chit-chatting. But if you want to come up tonight, we've had a ton of shows dealing with a lot of different topics. We've gotten a lot of participation from for those in the chat who like to engage with us. We appreciate you coming on. If you want to come up just to meet us, if you want to come up just to, or you had an opinion or a question from a show that we did in the past that you want to bring to our attention, if you have some pushback for us. All right, so I'm wearing my commando shirt. I was ready for for people to bring some incoming, so I wore my commando shirt specifically for tonight. So if you have some pushback for us, or if you have some topics that you would like us to talk about, or topics that we need to consider for future shows, anything is on the table tonight. You're more than welcome. The link to join us tonight has been dropped in the chat. So we'd appreciate anybody who wants to come up and say hello to us or chop it up with us for a while. The stage is open for the time that we have. But like I said, in the meantime, me and Peter were just going to keep the conversation going. But the question that I had for you was from a Greek perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen a fattening, if you will, of either in Greece or Greek Americans where people are getting fatter? Or did you see, like when you were a child, people were fitter because, again, maybe they did more manual labor, but now more people are doing more sit-down jobs. So are people as fit, as you will, as they might have been back in the 90s or, whatever time that you remember? So what do you think about that?
So this is not a single answer question. This is a multiple answer question.
Sure.
There's a multiple answer question you gave me. So let's start with the first one about the food. Okay, I think the food is an issue. I'm talking as a chef, as a Greek, and as a goddamn proud goddamn fucking American. And the reason I say that like this, I'm gonna tell you why I'm saying like this. So, okay, as a chef, I see these food coming in. I'm not gonna get too graphic because most of you guys are not gonna ever eat food ever again if I tell you how it looks disgusting when it comes in. It does. Because you telling me a turkey was grown in 1 year grows all these pounds that even I don't care what you feed them, you're pumping so much goddamn steroids, the steaks and stuff. This is why most Americans are goddamn fucking fat. Is the food. Like pork is actually a very healthy meat, but we think here is a fatty meat here. Yes, it is because we give it every fat junk to eat. Then you pump it in steroids. What? I seen literally pork loins. I'm not joking you. A pork loin, 95 pounds.
Okay, and so what's
a big goddamn pig?
Right.
So that just gives you an example. Now, do I feel we're sitting on our goddamn asses half the times? Yes, because technology has moved so much to the point that we don't know how to be active anymore. Definitely kids. Think about when we were kids. Me and you, we had not much difference. What is it, like maybe a few years?
Almost. I could be your daddy. So
my dad's goddamn 75 years old.
I'm just saying, technically, I could be your daddy. I'll be 55 this year. So I got you about what, 16 years? So technically, I could be your daddy. So I'm just saying. Go ahead.
Don't make me reach over there and slap some hair on you. Anyway, before I got,
but we do swim in some same lanes. There is some intersection there, so I'm just kidding with you. But yes, go ahead. Speaking of which, go ahead.
So, anyway, hang on.
This is Sparta.
So, with everything going on, yes, it sitting around has an effect in it. Being in Greece, I get more active. Meaning, a lot of people don't own a fucking car because they can't afford it because it's a lot of things going on between the if your plates run that day or don't. Insurance is a lot of headaches. More here, you just put a key, drive, and go. Pretty much insurance, gas,
right?
Simple. It's
more so owning a car in Greece is in a lot of ways more challenging than owning a car in America.
Oh yeah, most people have more bikes.
What would you say the average is, like per out of 10 people in Greece, 10 adults? How many of them own cars? Is it like 25% or less, or?
I would say like close to 15, between 15 and 20. I would say.
So it's okay. So it's really.
I'm guessing too. I don't have the actual.
Gotcha.
Statistics. So you're walking a lot. Now most people also now are taking the health less serious, like we are here. Well, here's the funny thing. This is where I'm going to challenge everybody in the chat tonight. This is a challenge question. We call ourselves the guru of fitness in America. But why are we more a guru of fatness? Or guru of fast food?
Mm-hmm.
Fast food it could be healthy. But all the fat is like Taco Bell or any burger joint. It's not healthy because we're using fatty, cheap, goddamn shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there are a few people, even Panera Bread. If you think you're eating that's healthy,
yeah, they definitely sell themselves that way for sure. Or even those, what's that place? There was a craze for what Buddha bowls, I think it was called. It's like they got these yogurt style ice cream.
Oh, the yogurt bars.
I think it's called Fruita bowls or something like that, and they put all the.
It's supposed to be like ice cream type of.
Yeah, but if you look at, because my daughters, they got into it for a while, and now it wasn't playable. It was like this sweet kind of well, it might have been playable, but
frozen yogurt, I think is made up. Not mistaken.
Yeah. But then if you look at the contents, of it, or just read the nutritional value, I'm like, one of those things is like 1,500 calories and up. I mean, depending on what you put into it. But they put in, it's like, oh, they're using acai and all these fresh fruits and all this kind of stuff. But the sugar content is through the roof. The calories are through the roof. But again, it's like it's healthy because you're using all of these different, quote unquote superfoods and whatnot in it. But at the end of the day, calories matter, and sugar content matters. So you're still taking.
You're saying now you cannot add calories coming in, going out. That's what I explain to people. So when you put yourself in calorie defect, it's hard because you can't do it every day. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's just one of those things. Like, what the hell are you going to do? Because you're trying your best to lose all that, but you can't because you think you're eating healthy. But are you really?
Yeah.
Think about it. Like, even going to a diner, are you really thinking you're eating healthy? Because that is usually more the healthier place to eat. They say it's homemade food. You know what it is? I'm not denying that. But my question is, do you really think you're getting great? Except the eggs, because they are fresh eggs. I give them that. But do you think the meats are great? Top line? No. I have been.
They are tasty though. Like anytime I go to a diner, like my daughters, they love the sausage, like the breakfast sausage you get like at a diner, a New Jersey diner. You can't buy it in any store. You got to go to like a Restaurant Depot or whatever to get that kind of stuff. But they absolutely love that sausage that you get. So anytime I go to a diner for anything, so, oh yeah, bring me back some sausage. I don't know where they get that stuff from, but it is,
It's the grill. Actually, it's not where they get it from. It's actually the grill because it's seasoned with eggs and everything, salt, pepper, and just transfers on it. That's why I'm very cautious when people tell me I have an allergen of this. And I tell my servers or myself, explain to the customer, I cannot promise it's not be some cross-contamination. There were a few places I worked in, like, okay, we have an extra grill just for allergens or a pan or something. Okay, yes, then I can promise you that. But most people, I don't promise. Like, I had a customer of mine. It was actually a buddy of mine too. Allergic to garlic. First of all, I just feel sorry for you, my man, allergic to garlic. Garlic is the best seasoning for everything. So, God bless you. So, anyway, long story short, the garlic, and I told him, dude, I can't promise that because I don't have anything else to cook it with. All the pans have touched garlic at some point. Now, there's some places that use blue or purple color pans. That's for allergen only. They wash shepherd's thing, everywhere.
Yeah, right.
I can promise that. Yeah, it's fine. But it's rare when I do that.
Gotcha. Now, what about speaking? Okay, so you definitely see in Greece. Do you see, or from Greek people, do you see them generally getting fatter, as like in America, or because of the quote unquote Greek Mediterranean diet? Are they more so than here, maintaining a healthy weight, or do you see with Greeks also that's also starting to change a bit? whether it be in Greece or here in the U.S.?
So here in the United States, there are some Greeks that are obese. Simple. You can't help it. Like
Hmm.
my family suffers with obesity. I cannot sit there and tell you not.
Oh, really? Oh, I
Yeah.
didn't know that. I didn't know.
My uncle, my mom's twin brothers were both obese. My
Hmm.
cousin, my mom's cousin, my uncle Pete, he's obese, and his son, who lives in Georgia, like I told you once before, he's obese.
Hmm.
My other cousin Laz, named after my grandfather,
Hmm.
he's not obese. He's extreme obese to the point if he flies to America, he needs to get seat tickets.
Two
That's how
seats.
bad.
Wow. Right.
And I've been,
And how
eventually,
is generally obesity looked at in Greece? Because I know, like, just culturally, like the whole like in America, I know there have been periods of time where actually, like, women, for example, like you've gone through periods in terms of what was considered attractive or whatnot. Like in the 20s and the 30s,
mhm.
a curvy woman was considered ideal. Up until probably the 60s and 70s when the fashion models and the Vogue magazine, they started to push the thin. So like Twiggy, I believe was like a model in the 70s who was like super thin, and they started pushing that super thin ideal for women. This is how you should be. But there was a time when curvy, heavy, for lack of a better word, obese women was considered sexy here. So in Greece, how is obesity even looked at, whether it be in a man or a woman? If you see a curvy, not just curvy, but trying to be sensitive to like an obese, just using BMI as an example. If you see like a curvier Greek woman, is she gonna get heads turned versus a skinny thin woman? There, do
Okay,
Greek
I'll
people
use
like
one of the
curvy
most.
bodies? What's the standard there?
I'm gonna use one person's body, for example. This most famous Greek person that nobody knows she's Greek till I say something right now. Trish Stratus. She's Greek.
Okay.
Greek Canadian. Okay, let's
Hmm.
use her body.
Right.
Um, uh, Before and after wrestling, because she lost weight and so she has a very curvy body.
Hmm.
That does not look down to when you're obese. I mean, fat. People fuck with you. They bully you. You know what I'm saying? It's
Hmm.
looked down to. It's very looked very down to. And like, come on, what are you? Like, you're only 23. What the fuck is going on with your life? Do
Hmm.
something about it.
Right.
Go on a diet or something. They will make comments. Some of the comments are fucked up, believe it or not.
Right.
Even with this whole generation we're still living in, the new generation, even Greek Americans will say the same thing because they grew up with that. Like, what the fuck's wrong with you? What are you so fat? They're so literally poking your stomach. Like, come on, tighten up. Like, you're just fucking lazy.
Hmm.
And that's not it sometimes. That ain't laziness. Like, listen, I'm not fucking lazy. I work. I lost a good amount of weight, but I'm working. Literally, I did 48 hours in 3 days. You
Hmm.
tell me when you're gonna find time gym and diet at the
Right.
same time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But
It's not.
that's interesting though, because again, and I didn't know about Trish Stratus being Greece. I think Maria Menounos. I think she's Greek, right? Is that the name? Menounos from W. She was also in WWE for a while. But my images when it came to Greek women, and again, the website going here like my big fat Greek wedding. Now I understand that's not the fat part isn't necessarily going to the women, but the women that I saw in the film were the main actress. She was certainly curvier. She wasn't a thin person. The mom, who I've seen in several different films, the person who played the mom in that, she was kind of like a curvier woman. So I always had in my mind this impression that again, Greek women generally tended to be curvier, or it wasn't necessarily looked down upon if you saw a woman who was more curvy or had more pounds than your traditional slim model type. Like that wasn't necessarily ideal. Like or that Greek men liked the woman with a little something on her. A little hips, a little butt, a
I
little.
always like a woman with hips, a little extra meat. That's how I've always been and I always will be.
Hmm.
It's a personal preference of mine. Simple.
Hmm.
There's nothing wrong
Yeah,
with that.
but
Uh,
that's not the norm with Greek men in general. Do Greek men generally
so before
like
we go
women
too
who
ahead, I
are
actually want to show a picture really fast. I'm gonna show
sure?
it. Everybody. So screen. So I'm just waiting, David to show. You guys seen it? Make sure I got it right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's
So
Trish.
Trisha, okay, she's Trish, and I forgot to give you guys warning here because yeah, this is before my beard phase I am in now and all that. So ignore my ugly face, guys. So this is my cousin over here. So you can see already he's obese. And let's be straight up, he's fat. And just try. So she's a very curvy Greek woman. So this is why I wanted to show that picture so bad because
Right.
you see the difference of a woman that is she's always been in fitness and stuff like that. The reason I want to show that so important is you can be happy with yourself. If you're low overweight, whatever, nobody should judge who you are because I was the one of the guys who got picked on all the time.
But you were small, or were you at a point you were a little chubby at some point in your teens?
I was always I felt like I always was chubby. It could be my imagination. It could be kids just messing with me. You know what I'm saying? My adulthood, my lowest weight, I don't know if I count that as healthy as much, was 150.
Okay.
And that was in my late 20s.
Okay.
But I busted through. Simple. Am I ever gonna get back to that weight? Who knows? But what I can sit there and say comfortably is that you could always, do what you need. I actually want to show one more picture. Actually, because my mother. Because I want to. There's a reason why. Because of the overweight that we're talking about. I'm just waiting. All right. So obviously, you see, is me and my mother here. So you see how my mother is overweight. Obviously, she's been through her own stuff over the years. So smoking and everything else, she can't work. I get it, diabetes and all that stuff. But she could have stopped all this very earlier in her stuff. But most Greeks, definitely, I don't say most Greeks, most Europeans don't know the concept of working out is. For them, a diet is called fasting. But they don't do intermittent fasting correctly. They have coffee through the day. That's all they have. But that breaks the fast. They don't understand that.
Right.
It's very hard to get through to them. I hope this is answering the whole question pretty much. Am I?
Well, again, I guess I'm looking more at, beauty standards. For a typical Greek man, if you had two body types up there, right? You got the slim, thin Greek woman, narrow hips, small breasts, pretty, but, versus a woman who's, again, a lot curvier. You might even call a little bit overweight, but she's got breasts, she's got hips, she's got a butt, she's got, movement. What's more likely a Greek man is going to go for? Is he going to look at, the one with the body or the what is more or less? So someone a little underweight or someone a bit overweight, if she's got some curves, because, especially with, I'll just talk as a black man, most of us, we like curves. If you're black, Latina, a woman or whatever, you got to have a butt. That's just, that's like, we see a black woman without a butt. That's almost like that's like a unicorn. It's like, wait, that doesn't register with us. So you got to have some curves on the body. So a lot of these images, a lot of these guys are telling you they want their women to be, 5'4" and 110 pounds or whatnot. For a lot of us black men, we're like, no, you gotta, I need something to hold on to. So doesn't mean you have to be obese, but you need to be, well figured. So that's just the standard that's there. Only guys who are like seriously into working out or what. Yeah, I want this fit, slim woman or the athletes or whatever. They'll go for that. But I'm just saying, just your average everyday guy. Yeah, give me a woman with some curves versus somebody who's you need to eat some cheeseburgers or something. You need to, if you're that thin, eat some cheeseburgers or put some curves on or something. So get in the gym, lift some weights. Don't just go there and do yoga and tai chi and treadmill. No, lift some weights, do some squats. But you need to build, and put some curves on the body. So I would say the average guy, we're looking for that.
So I will probably say is a combination here. The reason I say combination is preference. It is. You have men that are into very skinny chicks. I know some are into more of the chunkier chicks. I'm more like a little meat on her
Mhm.
because I don't want to break her. Simple. I'm not gonna say that lie. I'll be very straight and honest.
He's being honest tonight, transparent. Yes.
You want friends? I'll guide just your story really
Okay.
fast. Back in high
Yeah,
school.
shout out to Smitty's Corner. Shout out to Viva for coming out tonight. Thank you for supporting the chat. Again, this is open line. You guys, there's no time to come on. If you want to come on, you want to join the conversation, you have anything to say to us, click on the StreamYard link and join the conversation. This is a free for all tonight. Like I said, me and Peter, we're just having a conversation. You guys are free to come on. There's not going to be a segment to say, okay, come up if you want to, hang out in the back or whatever. Hang out. We'll bring you up right away, and we'll just welcome you to the show. So again, open line tonight. Anybody who's joining us tonight, feel free to come in and share what you got to share. So go ahead, Gumi.
You're getting buzzed. You know
Why?
what? You're wrong. You guys better get your asses up now. There we go. That's a little nicer. Right?
I said they didn't have to wait. I said you didn't have to wait. You can come up now if you want to. I thought that's what I was saying. So
okay, so where I live, so so in high school, I had a girlfriend very skinny. She was like her waist, and I'm joking, it was like almost this big. I can put my hand around her, and like her half her waist. So obviously being a young, horny little kid, I get my pee-pee wet. So I remember one time I got her so good, she limped for a week.
Oh, geez. All right. We don't need to know that level.
I'm not going more than that. So
all right.
Ever since then, I always wanted more meatier girls, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I was going to say. No, nothing too graphic for you, Paul. Just for everybody
Limping
else.
for a week. This pretty
But anyway, seriously, I think it's preference, really. What kind of woman you like. Even here, Greece, whatever you are, it's preference. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But you're a people watch. You watch. Are you a people watcher? Like you see, whether you go to the beach or go whatever. I mean, to the mall, you see couples, or when you're in Greece, especially, you see people together. I mean, what are the women generally look? I'm not talking about the celebrities or the stars or whatever. I'm just saying, let's say I'm in Greece right now. If my wife and I decide to go to Greece within the next year or two, I'm going to be on the streets of Athens or whatever. I'm going to be seeing these couples, and they're probably holding hands. What am I going to see? Is the woman going to be a little on the curvier side? Is she going to be on the slimmer side? I'm saying just the average everyday Greek man. Generally, what's his woman going to look like?
Combination, I would say.
Okay.
But it's going to be more pushed towards the curvier side.
Yeah, that's all I was trying to get. That's all I was trying to get to. I just always had this thing that, again, Greek men generally, and look, especially if you have kids, forget it. Like my thing is, like I remember even when I was dating, I had this thing in my head where in my mind, I imagined the woman with about 30 pounds on her. So let's say if I saw her, she had no kids. In my mind, I would be like, what if I put 30 pounds on this body, will she still look good with that extra 30 pounds? If she did, I would actually go and approach. So I never looked at a woman outside of that. Now, if she was already kind of on the curvier side already, and then you add 30, 40 pounds on top of that, in fact, it would be more, because if you're already heavy, adding weight on, I would probably have to put 40 or 50 pounds on you realistically. Like a thin woman, you're going to gain about 20, 25 pounds on average during pregnancy and whatnot. And then unless you're diligent about working out, that weight's not all that weight's going to come off, especially if you have multiple kids. So I always factor that into the equation. So I said, what do you look like? I'm going to put weight on you, given age and number of children, and not just one. So I always intended to have multiple children. So I can't see you just with one kid, because one kid, I see a lot of women able to sort of bounce back from that. You have 2, 3, 4 kids, that's when the weight gets harder and harder to kind of come off, unless you're really diligent about it, or at the very least they get some surgery, remove the belly fat or whatever, the loose skin from the pregnancies or something. So I always looked at women in that regard. It was a weird thing, but I gotta see you in your motherly form. And I used to go to like places like Michael's Office and Crafts or Hobby Lobby or whatever. You see the moms in there with the babies and the stroller and whatnot. I would take a look at them and say, yeah, that would be ideal. So again, she's going to be curvier because she's got the kids, but that to me that was attractive. Seeing an attractive mother versus just a 20 something who's like, again, 5'4" and 110 pounds. That never really appealed to me. I expected my wife to get curvier as she had kids and as we've gotten older over the time that we've been together. That's the thing. I just like curves, man. I never not imagine being with a woman who didn't have them.
Yes, 100% not going to disagree with you. Was my cup of tea too.
Mhm.
Because again, it's preference in the day. You cannot sit there and say, me and you, if you were, a lot younger, like I'm going to a club with me, we're going to say we're gonna have the same flavor. We might have different flavors. Like you might like a brunette, I like a blonde, for example.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so on. It just gives you an example. So I'm gonna show a couple pictures here. I want to show
Sure.
you stuff here. Like everybody is legit from Greece. Most of them live in Greece as we speak, and maybe one or two are born in Greece, and they're raised here. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So the first one. So just bear with me, guys. This is one of my really good friends, Costa. Okay, this is two sisters, both in Greece, born in America, but he moved back to Greece because he makes
Mhm.
more money what he does for a living. All right.
Mhm.
So I don't care about Costa as much. All right. I care about
What's
this woman.
Cosa? What's
Costa is
Cosa?
his name. Costa.
Oh, Cosa. Okay.
Yeah, like Costa, like Father Costadinos. Costa
Yeah.
is the
Yeah.
short version of it. So my
Okay.
thing is,
Okay.
I wanted to show more of his stuff, his pictures. Okay.
Mhm.
So the next one I want to share. That didn't work the way I wanted to, but it's okay. This is another buddy of mine, George. George is a Greek American, born in Greece but raised here. His sister,
Mhm.
again, different body
Oh,
style.
definitely on
That's
the thinner side. Yeah.
yeah. So another one I want to show. No. Looks a little different. I'm used to, so bear with me, guys.
Mhm.
Okay,
But definitely the first picture with the two curvier women, yeah, that would get my attention more so
That's
than
my
the
cup
no
of tea.
no disrespect to
So
the
this
to
is
the
one of my best friends. This is his family. Okay, I just want to show this. George is literally my brother from another mother. His mother, for example,
Mhm.
she's a more on the thicker side woman.
yeah.
And she's
But it's
older. I
interesting for
get
the
it.
longest time that was always my image of a Greek woman, or at least an older Greek woman. They're gonna be curvier, they're gonna be rounder, they're gonna be so I never associated, Greek with being thin or lean like that. That's like the prototypical what I always thought in my mind about Greek women. Or certainly the ones I've seen, especially the older ones. It's just it's just
Yeah.
a thing.
So, and the last one I'll show. I had it up, but I hit the wrong one.
Mhm.
This is nope. Ah, here it is. Okay, this is another buddy of mine. His name is also Costa. He lives in Greece. This is when he was overseas in London with his sister. Both were studying abroad, was cheaper, different schools, but they just happened to be in the same country.
Mhm.
So the girl with the glasses is his younger sister, and the guy who thinks he can grow a beard, it's my buddy Costa. If I'm gonna make you guys famous, I gotta pick on you guys. And this is another Greek woman, or a friend of theirs.
Mhm.
But I want to pick his sister. I want to diagnose her body a little bit here. And she's the only reason I'm showing these pictures because they're my friends and they know I do this shit, so they don't care. So you see, she has curves on her, but she's still in the thinner side.
Mhm.
And that
I would still say I said she needs some cheeseburgers.
You know what? The
Like I said,
pictures
like I said, if I saw it in my mind, what I would do is it's like I got to put 30 pounds on you, like or see you with some kids. I got to see you with that filled out body is going to look like. But I'd be like, yeah, I need more. Very pretty, but I'd be like, I need a little more. I need some thickness. I just that just works.
here's a better picture. In her defense, she is a shorter woman,
Mhm.
so you have to keep that in mind. This is a little bit better picture of them. I'm trying to find a decent picture, not like on an angle. So okay,
Mhm.
so the girl in the background, that's his sister. Obviously, you recognize
Right.
Costa, another Greek friend of there. This is actually in Greece now. So again, yeah, she does have curves on, but she is all right, 4'8". So,
Okay. Oh wow. Very
so
petite.
she's
Right.
small. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you get where I'm going with that. So
Yeah.
I just showed you guys several different type of body styles of women
Mhm.
who are legit Greek.
Mhm.
Same thing as American, different type. Same thing as a Latino, same thing.
Mhm.
Same thing as a African woman, same thing. A
Right.
Jamaican, same thing. And I
Right.
think you
Right.
guys get to the point this morning.
Now,
It's
typically,
different.
now the pictures that you showed of the older women, they were all on the sort of the overweight side. Is it then natural that maybe a woman starts out being thin, like your like the last friend that you showed, but then again over time with kids and all that, they end up looking more like the older woman that you showed in the one of the next to last pictures? Is weight gain over time something that is almost like inevitable from from other from other women?
So the weight gain, I will if I had to put a number, what percentage of you being overweight is probably close to 75 to 80% at that point.
Right.
But you know what I'm saying? These women who I'm showing don't work out. They don't know what working out is, if that makes
Hmm.
sense.
Oh yeah, yeah. Figure that.
So like as much as you sit there and tell them like I can pop a picture of my mom up here.
Hmm.
A better one. Actually, let me find a better one as I speak.
Hmm.
I'm speak about this.
Or
So a
if you have
woman
a younger one that maybe like, do you have a picture of your mom from like when she was in her 30s, like a young, really young picture of her?
don't online actually, unfortunately.
Hmm. Hmm.
So with my mother, I mean, in general, women, I'm sorry, I just ran my thought a minute. They all get to the point at their age, yeah, they get a little bigger, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
But not all of them do.
Hmm.
Like this is why I'm very excited when we figure out me and you need to figure the date out in this one, and then you can head down to church with us and stuff.
Hmm.
Um, and you can see the difference. They're combination and stuff.
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
in my two cousins in New Jersey, both of them are obese. I'm actually going to show a picture right now with you guys and they're not much older than me. They're only like 3 years older than me.
Right.
And it's just, sometimes I do think genetic has a role to play with.
Hmm.
I do think this genetic has a big thing. In my family, it runs with
Right,
obesity.
right. Yeah, that's an image that's always
In your head.
been there, and again, and it happens. We know why I know why it happens. So certainly, once you turn 40, just like in men, your testosterone drops. So weight gain comes on. Same thing in women. Your estrogen drops. It's like testosterone and estrogen. Those are the sexual hormones, and obviously they're there to make sure that you mate. So again, what's going to be the ideal that keeps people mating is to keep women and men relatively thin to be attractive. But it's almost like once you turn 40, it's almost like, well, maybe, since you guys don't have any kids anymore, I don't have to work to keep you slim anymore. So then sometimes the fattening just tends to happen. A lot of women start putting weight on after 40 because you're beyond childbearing years. So that those hormones keep fat or the processing or synthesizing of fatty acids going. But it's like once you're not going to have kids, it's like, okay, there's no need to keep you attractive. So that's why men, especially, you turn 40, that's when you really have to start taking care of your health, the working out, the strength training, things like that to keep your testosterone up. That's the thing. When you work out, it naturally boosts your testosterone. So again, you want to be the most, I guess, attractive version of yourself. But for a lot of ladies, that weight just sort of balloons on. So again, what ladies talk about, oh yeah, in my 20s and 30s, I was fine. Nobody could tell me nothing. But when I hit 40 or when I hit menopause or whatever, it's like game over. And the weight just kind of just skyrocketed because of that. So, at each decade or at each point in life, you have to keep in mind how your body's changing. And you may have to do more than you had to do before. Like, especially when you're 20, in your 20s and 30s, no one even thought about what they ate. Because you were just burning it, especially as a teenager, you can eat almost anything,
right. And that's why
you just burn through it.
Show this next one picture. Might have to do it again. Yeah, I do. This is me and my father. It's a little older one, but I want you guys to focus on my father for a minute. My father, with his coat, is kind of hard to see, but you can tell in the midsection he does have a stomach.
Mm-hmm.
And he is just, the thing is, end of the day, most Greeks, at least the older Greeks, don't know what working out is.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing they know one thing, eat.
Yeah.
They love to fucking eat. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Drink. The second thing, and to smoke.
Mm-hmm.
Now, out all those three combinations together, what do you get?
A whole lot of problems.
Bingo. Bingo.
A whole lot of problems. Yeah. And you did say that, I think on one of our first shows, you did say that there's still, to this day, a high number of Greeks who smoke. Like, that's like a major portion, like where America might have been like in the 60s and 70s with the smoking. And then you started seeing, you start seeing the cancer ads and the warnings. And I think people smoke less now than they did back in the day, where it was almost like expected to smoke. But in Greece now, generally people are still expected to smoke. I mean, that's just part of that's part of the culture.
Not expect. They'll tell you if you're smoking, all your loved ones says, you think about what you're doing is a nasty habit, is a dangerous habit, yada. They're gonna try to talk you out of it. All right.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not expected. I want to keep that professionally out there.
Right.
Nobody's gonna tell you, like, give you a cigarette at 12 years old, like, you need to smoke, young man.
Mm-hmm.
No. I remember when I started smoking, like, I was in my 20s, and everyone looked at me like, yeah, that's a bad idea. You're gonna regret this later.
Mm-hmm.
6 months only took me to regret it, and I couldn't get it off it. And only finally now, 8 months in, and I'm good.
Still off the not even, you don't even do the E.
I got a little stressed out when I was moving jobs routine, and so I was doing this. I did flirt with the idea of doing the zero nicotine.
Okay.
I filled it. I had it on my desk. I go, you know what? I'm already 8 months in, almost 8 months into this. It's not even worth it. It's not even worth it.
Yeah. Shout out to roller skating Texas girl. Yeah, definitely trying to change it up. Yeah, roller skating. Yeah, back in the day, that was a great activity, especially if you got the inline or the inline skating. Yeah, I mean, that was a great way to get some work in also, especially if you had bad knees or whatever. So yeah, anywhere you can get it in to be active, especially in your 50s. You don't necessarily have to let your health go to the pot. That doesn't mean you go out and do crazy lifts or things that are dangerous. Like I said, I'm in my 50s, so I have to be mindful of the stuff that I do, even though on certain days I feel like pushing the envelope some. But you need to be mindful of that. But absolutely, to be able to get out and do some things, do some activities, just start there. But then work yourself up to where, again, strength training, I always recommend for everybody. Strength training, it's good for your bones, your bone density, your spine, supports, the skeletal muscle that you have, so you can do more functions later on. Definitely I'm a big advocate for, working out with weights and again, resistance forms of training in addition to the activities. But absolutely, that's a great way to, that's definitely a great way to get things.
And I actually want to touch base on this a little bit too, because the one thing most Greeks, at least younger Greeks, I would say, like, teenagers and stuff like that, because they need to get around. Roller skates and skateboarding is not really a thing you see in there in Greece.
Right.
Bikes, you do. You see
bikes,
shitload of bikes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one other way they get exercise and do things.
Right.
So keep that in mind. Walking is the major exercise because you have to walk. So you got point A to point B.
Yeah.
So the combination I put before, like as much you want to ride your bike and do things, as older you get, your knees are gonna start giving out. Your
Mm.
back is gonna give up. Your hips gonna be bad. You're gonna be sounding like our pain. Now I think about it. I'm like, hey, I gotta throw a shower when he needs to be.
Mm.
But you know, when you start getting to up to like his age in the 80s and 90s, it's gonna start hurting and cracking and stuff like that. So sometimes age is gonna catch up with you.
Yeah.
But
Well, it's always
I'll
going to
use my
catch up to you.
godfather. I use my
Right.
godfather. My
Right.
godfather is ripped to shreds, and
Mhm.
he's 95 still, and he still goes
Wow.
trains. He
Right.
trains, he lives life normal. He's on medication for blood pressure and some
Mhm.
other thing. Obviously, at
Right.
95, I expect something.
Yeah.
My instructor, 78, he died. The only bad habit he picked up to her, he goes, if I make it to 70 something years old, I'm gonna start smoking cigars. I looked at him like, are you serious? And he started smoking cigars at 70 because he wanted
Right.
to.
Right.
But he wasn't having one every day. It was one every. He bought one box. I
Mm.
remember it took him over 2 years to smoke it.
Right.
So you get the
Yeah.
idea then.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Want to Tad Joe, because we talked about, again, this is just random conversation later. We're just having we're just talking. Again, this is our open show. If you go into the chat, there's a StreamYard link you can click on. You can join the conversation. There's no waiting. We're just going to be talking until we get some folks who want to come up. See, this is supposed to be the Bring the Smoke show. When we're having a show, everybody's so active in the chat. Calling us out saying, "Oh man, you dropped the link. Drop the link." Now we dropped the link, and where are you guys? So we're waiting for folks who had spoke for us to come up and join the conversation. Hopefully, you'll join it later on in the time that we have. But again, this is open line tonight. Join anytime. You don't have to show your face, but again, we will verify you in the background. But you don't necessarily have to show your face. So we understand that. But certainly, again, join the conversation. Drop us a comment if you'd like to. But just going back to, again, different culturally between Greeks and Americans when it comes to food. What about portion size? And obviously,
I was actually just thinking the same thing right now.
Yeah. So what? So like you here, it's like I know very few people who finish.
Okay, so I gotta break down the meals first. I want to touch base on breakfast. What is a typical breakfast for a Greek? And that is okay. So most Greeks are nicotine and coffee.
That's breakfast.
Yes. The other percentage, that's only 50%. The other percent, we're stopped at a funo, like a bakery shop, let's call it, and pick up a buwacho teleopita. Buwacho is like a cream pie, almost like a Danish. Think of it, right?
Right.
With cinnamon and flour, white sugar, excuse me, and it's flour and all that stuff. The other one is Greek cheesecake pie. It's feta filo anoué. That is the most popular one in Greece. And the 1% I would call them is who know about fitness. They eat yogurts, eggs, and stuff like that. It's but really rare. When I was growing up in Greece, now it's the other around. It's people are paying more attention to their diets. They're watching. They're not smoking. So keep this in mind. This is pre-fitness boom. All right. So lunch, yeah, it depends. Did you pack your lunch? Did you not pack your lunch? Most times you're not packing lunch. You might pack a sandwich, and you might stop at the funo again because that goes through lunch. You may get like another Danish, or they make something that's called I call it the triangle. The best way I explain it in American. It's almost a Zeppeli pizza Greek version.
Yeah.
So you might order pizza, gyro, souvlaki, or gyro. It's the most common one to get in lunch. You can get one, eat it really fast, $2, a drink, done, out the window, and get back to work. It's a combination of stuff. I can't answer that. Dinner now. Dinner. My nemesis. So dinner portions are size of my head usually for one person.
The size of your head.
Yes. Okay. My mom, literally, I'll give you my mom's example. Her food. So she made the other day. She was feeling in a good mood. I was working my 16-hour shift and I couldn't really cook.
Mm.
And then I told her I'll order something or whatever. She goes, "No, I got it. I actually feel healthy enough to cook." She made Greek lasagna. In other words, pasticcio. Pasticcio is ground beef, noodles, like the round big
Yeah.
ones,
Yeah.
like zelties, like like zeppies. So, but
Mhm.
they're long. One noodle is like this goddamn fucking big. It's
Mhm.
like this big. You can whistle out of it.
Yeah.
And joking around
Right.
as kids, we used to take them and whistle through them when we were
Right.
eating them.
Right. Right.
So then these white cream breadcrumbs, carb fucking city.
Yeah.
This fucking big, all right. So
Right.
she doesn't cut them like small pieces. She cuts them this big. So it's literally one. Think of one good portion for a normal person would be half of that, right?
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
eating about between 4 to 6 portions
Yeah. Yeah.
one sitting.
Right.
And that's a normal portion shit.
Right.
Let's see, and when you're, I'll give you an example. Actually, Stacy's in the comment. I want her, if she's not falling asleep on me, she's been at my house and I go, "Come on, eat." I'm like, and she gets offended when you don't. I'm like, like people don't eat portions like a goddamn king.
Right.
Like,
But now, but that's kind of standard in a Greek home. So again, that's why I was asking again about the women. So if the food that's typically eaten, so what you just described for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, is carb rich, sugar rich through breakfast and through breakfast. You have a big meal at night, and so but the women aren't necessarily going to be thin as if you're eating that type of food, and if you're eating it over time, you would expect that the women to fatten over time because of these big meals and the Greek culture that says you need to eat more. Here, you had enough. Here, have some more. So I got a feeling that again, why Greek women are gonna fatten up as they get older is because again, all that catches up. You can bypass a lot of stuff when you're in your 20s. You got no kids or whatever. You can get away with a lot of stuff. But once you hit that 35, 40-year-old mark, and once you start having kids, the metabolism of the body, how your body processes that stuff, it definitely changes. So I think a lot of those habits that are built into the culture wind up oftentimes with the culture fattening. And that's why, like I said, when I had that image in my head of the traditional Greek woman who's a bit on the rounder side, it's because of a lifetime of that kind of eating habits that may ultimately lead to that later onset obesity that may come later in life.
Yes, I totally agree 100% on everything you said. It just the old school mentality is there. This is never going to change, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Now it's changing finally. How many years later? I remember my grandmother when she was, I'd say, younger. She was a big woman, like my mother. I think that was normal. It was nothing. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But when she got sick and she lost all that weight, I didn't recognize her. She was like, her clothes wouldn't fit her because she was sick. She was dying slowly, and we didn't realize it.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to show you one picture here. This is my cousin, the really, really big cousin of mine. And this one bothers me because we all has tried to help him. This is
y'all have what?
We all try to help him, even myself.
Okay, yeah.
This is one of the most recent pictures of him. You can tell how big he is by his face.
Mm-hmm.
He's almost 300, dude.
Yeah.
That's all I can say with that.
Yeah.
Mentality's finally breaking.
Yeah, it definitely catches up over time, and I'm sure a lot of cultures. I mean, Italian culture, they're big on food and whatnot, the family gatherings and whatnot. So it's definitely not something unfamiliar. Again, obesity in general, it's like a global issue. It's a global problem. But certainly here in America, I always thought the reason why I asked you about the portion size is I think I was asking more about in restaurants, because a lot of times you go to a restaurant here in the States, and like you go to the diner, it's like big portions. You go give me an omelet with a stack of pancakes or whatever. Those pancakes are like,
Okay, hang on. I gotta talk about the omelet shit for a second here. Okay, you want to call it big time omelet? I'll give you a good portion of omelet for a Greek family. So my mom will first make French fries. After she's done with her French fries, she cuts some sausage up. Now she's gonna saute all that. Then she's gonna put the eggs. When she throws the feta in. Then she puts the French fries in. That's all one. She won't mix them. She wants the French fries in with the omelet.
Right.
And now she could put feta.
Right.
So the omelet is like this goddamn fucking big.
Right.
And it's this fucking big. I'm like it's a goddamn fucking pizza. Not an omelet. That's a fucking pizza.
Yeah.
She goes,
yeah.
That's too small. She goes, you should eat this. This is only for you. I'm like, what the fuck, man? I'm like,
and she expects you to eat all of it. Okay. All right. So again, portion size, I expect that to be
I know I'm gonna get shit for this. I'm gonna tell him this. It's a BMU portion. I call it now.
Oh my gosh! All right.
I'm
sure he's gonna have some smoke for us later.
Watching this because he needs to hear this. You need to. So my mom knows about all you guys. We talk about it. You know, I'm very transparent. She knows about you. She goes, her favorite thing in the world is cooking for people.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, I want to see a picture of these guys. I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm like, here's Paul, here's you, so on. I got you on Facebook and everything. She goes, I like BMU. I go, why? He goes, he looks like a young, healthy boy. I looked at him like, okay. So I want to cook for him. I go, what about Paul? Paul needs we got to put some meat on him. I'll make him laugh.
Oh my God. See, she wouldn't have liked me back. And like I said, when I graduated college, you know how tall I am. I'm 6'3", so I'm a pretty tall guy.
You forget that?
Yes. So I'm just saying, I was 147 pounds. Mm-hmm. I'm 228, 229 right now. So I've gained a significant amount of weight since my college days, just to maintain kind of where I'm at. So the fact that someone is still saying that I need to add more pounds on me, yeah, that's definitely a that's the first time I've heard that. So again, so the typical Greek mom, she's gonna want, the sign of health is a bit of waistline, a little bit of he's filled. Now when it comes to like younger Greek women, like, are you taught that you need to feed your man, fatten him up? You get they talk about they talk about the freshman 15, then also talk about the marital 20. When you get married, typically you gain about 20 pounds. It's just, the dating and everything, you look good for each other and stuff, but now you're home, you're cooking, is the mom telling the daughter or the daughter-in-law or whatever, look, okay, you gotta feed your husband, you gotta, make him these dishes and things like, is that something that's passed on? Is that encouraged for a young Greek bride to say, hey, you gotta, your job is to fatten them up? Is that something that is
I can't
passed
sit there and
on?
talk about brides because I didn't have a sister. I don't know, but I will say one thing that my mother used to say is 3 things you use your hand for. She used to say to me.
Oh boy!
And I hate. I always
here we go.
Me. Yeah, and you see where I get it. He goes, chicken, fish, and your woman. She goes. I go, wow, I'm having a great conversation with my mother.
Man.
You see where I get it from now?
Yeah. Your mother is something else. She's something else. Wonderful woman.
I'll let her, you guys.
Wonderful woman. Oh, that'd be fire if you got her on the show.
I can get her on. I just have to make an arrangements with it. I have to make this not arrangement with her. I mean, arrange it with my work schedule and stuff like that because I have to make sure that day I'm not, I'm free.
Absolutely. Wife School podcast. She's joined us. Thank you for joining us tonight. Again, this is open mic. So if you want to get up and say hello to us, or if you have anything to add on,
not up here yet.
Sure. Well, who's that?
Trey. He's in there. I haven't.
Trey, my man Trey Ferg, my 7B brother. Yeah, if you're about there, you can free to pop on up and just just say hi to us and see what's going on with you. Again, this is open line. There's no waiting. You can click on the link, join us now, and join the conversation. We're just shooting it tonight. But
Yeah, I'm surprised Woman's not up here because I see her making a comment in the chat. Like, come on, guys.
I know, right? I know. Say when we don't have the open line, they come for us. It's like drop. Where's the link? I got something to say. So
It actually literally just posted. Trey, he literally just dropped it again. There you go.
yeah, he's dropped it several. Yeah, it's been dropped several times tonight. So again, if you get a chance to come on, just go go ahead and do that. Lou Medic, thank you for coming in. Thank you, Grooming Reviews, for representing the men who actually have hair. There's no need. No one's firing shots. I'm just repping for the
Listen,
follically free.
brother,
I'm just
listen,
telling
listen,
guys
listen.
be bold in your boldness. That's all. That's all. But I'm for peaceful coexistence with the follicle world. There's no hate here. We can both coexist in the same space. So but again,
I'm
shout
gonna
out to
tell
Lou
you
Medic for stopping on here through tonight.
I'm gonna tell you one thing. And this kid, listen, you look better as a man with hair on the head. I can't let you slide with that. But I will not let you slide with no beard. We can go how long. We need a.
See, wait a minute. See,
hang on, let me finish. We're gonna have a show a week or two from now. I'm gonna actually change the schedule to talk about men with rear beards, not clean shaven. Clean shaven is a modern Poloni to mark his shit. This is how men supposed to leave the house. This
This is
is gonna be the bear show. That's what this is gonna be. The bear.
Bear
Bring
show.
on all the bears, all the woolly mammoths out there. You guys gonna be coming with your beards,
Woolly bears.
7-inch long beards. And thank you, Wife School. She says I look good without the beard. Appreciate it. There. And our
Wife,
man
me
just
and you have
showed
a
up
long
today. My
conversation.
man with the properly manicured goatee. So again,
appreciate it.
shout out to my man for coming up. See here again. You can have peaceful coexistence. You can have the beard. You can have the bald head. He looks very handsome. I must say. But shout out to you, Trey Ferg. What's going on tonight, my brother? How you doing?
I'm okay, man. How y'all fellas doing? Can y'all hear me?
We're
pretty
doing
good?
all right. We're just kicking it.
man.
This is the open mic show. Everybody's been coming at us for weeks, talking about drop the link. I got something to say. We open up the link tonight. We start the show with that. People can come up and come at us or whatever they want to say to us. So we drop the link, but folks aren't showing up. So we just having a conversation. We just kicking it, man. So how's your weekend gone so far? How's your Sunday? Been going? What's going on with you, man?
Well, Brother Ben, I know you into boxing, man. I know you saw that nice little beat down yesterday.
Yeah. I was pleasantly surprised. On our boxing show, I picked Fury to win. He came in, looked in shape and everything, and I got to give credit to Usyk, because I thought early on Fury was winning. But he hit him with that shot, and that changed the course of the fight. After that, shout out to him, and shout out to Ukraine. There's actually, in the past 2 weeks, we have 3 Ukrainian champions. So you have Vasily Lomachenko, fought a couple weeks ago in Australia, won the lightweight title for Ukraine. Then you had Usyk, who won yesterday, and on the same night, on ESPN, you had another boxer. I forget his name, but he fought this guy who was expected to win the lightweight champ. He moved up. He was going for his third division, and he lost. So 3 Ukrainian fighters won world championships over the past of a couple of weeks. So shout out to Ukraine. They definitely represent on the boxing end, and so they have a lot of. They have a lot of things in spite of their situation. They have a lot of things to celebrate that these men went out there representing their countries the way they did.
Brother Ben, I asked you the wrong question, man. So I know you love boxing, man. That was you can give me boxing. I'm gonna have to get with you and get some old boxing stats.
Hey, man, that's my thing. Absolutely.
Bro, man, how you doing, man? Your hair looking good, man.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It looking good, man. Look like you did that yourself.
No, actually, I went to the barber. It's been a couple of weeks since I cut it, but I told you it's coming back. The locks of Spartan is coming back.
That beard looking strong, man. Listen, that's the beauty of man. I got a goatee. Groom has a full beard. Brother Benny has no facial hair. Look at the variety that you get.
That's it, man.
But again, I'm going to argue the fact anybody has a kind of facial hair, they're alpha males. Paul?
See, you can't apply that, especially to all black men, because again, there's populations where they just don't grow hair, like continental Africa, sub-Saharan Africa, men don't have hair, period, because it's not efficient in that environment. So not everyone's going to have those follicles to the extent that you would like them to have. So it's look, it's not for everyone. And like I said, I tried so many times. Like I said, when I tried to grow out a beard, like I said, I was injured. I was out of work for over a year, and so I tried to grow it in. And I have bald spots on my face where the beard was coming in.
When it first comes in, like I said, it takes a while. After you start growing, it will fill in slowly. There are slow grooming hairs, and like I told you on my show, you didn't brush it, you didn't pour any oil.
I did. Well, the oils and stuff. I don't know if any. Honestly, especially in the 80s and in the early 90s. You didn't have all those hair oils and whatnot that you have right now. I mean, that market was almost closed down.
It wasn't existed back then.
But
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It wasn't even a thing unless you were one of them natural guys. You put some olive oil or shea butter or something like that. If you just did it naturally, your own thing or whatever. But there was no market for bearded men back in the day.
And you have a good point there. I'm not denying that one bit, but I think you should give it another shot. I think BMU will actually appreciate that. I think like they will appreciate it. I think all
honestly, if I had the druthers, honestly, I think I would even consider a laser just to permanently remove. So I would almost go the laser route, so I wouldn't have to shave versus growing it out at this point. I just like the clean shaven look. I think it makes me look younger. Which again, I'm always mindful of, especially when I'm out in the field and I'm competing with it. When people don't know how old I am, I think I try to use that to my advantage. If they knew I was turning 55 this year, they may look at me differently, or like I said, if I got to go on job interviews or certain things like that, they may look at me and be like, yeah, he might be told we can get a guy hat, but they don't know if I'm 35 or they don't know if I'm 55. So I got to compete with guys half my age in the marketplace, and so. I think hair, and especially at this point, if I did grow a beard, I would definitely have some whiskers, some white whiskers at this point, if I did grow it out. And so again, at this point, I'm not trying to give it up. See, Trey, he's retired, so Trey can have his wisdom beard, and he can look like the wise OG. Me, I'm competing with another generation, trying to stay ahead of the game and stay relevant. So I think for that reason as well, there's some advantages for me. Trying to mask my age. That's why I shaved my head, because I had balding up here. So again, I didn't want the George Jefferson look. So I definitely wanted to be able to mask some things, and with the health and the fitness, I think I look pretty good with my proportions. So so I keep them guessing.
Yeah, and listen, brother Ben and grooming. Listen. You got a few years before you catch up with us, man. You got a few years, man. You got 20 years on your belt before you get up here with the big dogs. Shout out to my Gen X.
That's it.
We look young.
Yeah, I was telling. Yeah, he got offended because I was saying I could be his daddy, and he got offended at that. So.
I didn't get offended.
It's true.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, grooming.
No, it's not. I'm just saying.
Listen,
you guys are my boys, and I respect you guys as my friends and everything. But when I come talk to you guys about some topics, like me and you were talking about my job recently, it's a great conversation. I respect you guys like a father figure too. Definitely, even when our opinions on, like, we all keep him shit, but we all of us, we all respect him as our great grandfather.
Of course.
But so we might bust each other. Like, I know you might say maybe I'm only saying my father's 75. He's old.
That's typical. But we've talked about this in earlier shows. The average Greek man is getting married in his late 30s, which is shocking to me. I thought that it was the other way around. People got married a lot younger, but folks are definitely waiting for it. So so it's expected you're gonna have kids well into your 30s and whatnot. So so he's simply proving what you started our conversation with. So it makes sense that he's definitely gonna be older.
So I have a question, grooming, with
Go for it.
Greek culture and marriage. Since Brother Ben just mentioned that, based on the average, is that average across the world or in America or specifically for that country? Because I would think, like Brother Bennett, outside of America, a lot of cultures get married younger, if they're available to be married, because they seem to marry based on heritage and lineage, and they sort of connect to those same social levels. So, just on the common man, just regular working, hardworking man, do they tend to marry and want to marry, and also with the women want to marry at younger ages within the Greek culture, outside of America, or is it both?
So I can only answer from what I have experienced.
Okay.
So from my personal experience, a lot of Greeks actually, that marry older. There are very few, almost a few, it's a good amount that they got lucky and they met the woman earlier or the husband and it worked out. I know two couples actually, Maria and Yanni, John. They met through a website called Elite Greek. There's
Mhm.
most Greeks there. But the
Wow.
problem with that website is it's a money scam, number one. And
Mhm.
B, it's have them across the world. And third of it, it's the same girls all over or the same guys, whatever
Mhm.
you want to look at it. So long story short, it's and she got lucky there, and they've been married ever since. Great. But that's not always happen like that. I'm 30. I haven't met the right one yet. I'm okay with that. But I know my time's gonna come.
Mhm.
And I know talked to a lot of people recently. That's not odd. That's very common. I felt for a while, and I kept it to myself for a long time. Like I was falling behind. It's never gonna happen. He goes, dude, they're like, I know 10 people older than you, and they still haven't found the right one to have kids with. It's not a bad thing. Sometimes waiting is the best way to do it than jumping into a relationship that is too young, too mature,
Mm.
not ready, and you haven't really, buried those eggs and growing a tree, the seeds, excuse me, and growing a tree. You have strong roots, like yourself, Paul, like yourself, Trey. You guys have good roots with your relationships, and you have kids and everything. But if they're weak roots, they're gonna break, and you're gonna with a divorce, child support, and stuff like that. It's only one or two cases that I know people mind this. Listen, I divorced my wife, but she's a good person at the end of the day. That doesn't anything bad. We just grew out of love. They didn't have to go through child support, nothing. They made an agreement between each other and they work it out.
Mhm.
How often do you actually hear that?
I mean, grooming. Listen, there's those type of nuances in every culture, every race that vary within their race. Now, I would think, from what you're saying, most of those experiences come from Greek men looking for Greek women, or is
Right.
your options open to all women?
Oh, I'm open. I'm definitely
Well,
open.
okay,
Me
okay,
personally.
so cool, so cool. So as far as with the women, you'll probably come across the same difficulties as most men, and even black men for sure when it comes to women. But again, you are what I've learned over your time and experience with you. You appear to be very mature. You have a determination about you, which is a positive, right? It's a
Hmm.
positive. You have a caring heart. You know, you have a sense of humor, and not every woman, regardless, because I know you like them like we like them. You like them to be looking built right and looking good and all that. All men are the same when it comes to that,
Mhm.
but it may take a little time. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I wouldn't even look for her. She'll appear to you. She'll appear to you. But I will give you this advice. You stay ready. You be ready. Continue these processes. So when it happens and we get older, because see, we think we have all this time. As we get into our 30s, we can't waste time 2 and 3 years with somebody who we don't see it happening as far as marriage, but you can't look at it like it could go bad. These spaces can deter you from having the blessing that you want when you talk, when you hear people always saying, "What could possibly happen?"
Mhm.
You can't look at it like that. Those are great conversations when you meet somebody to have early, and watch how they move accordingly after that. You know, if they moving accordingly to continue to be along your face, along your eyes, along some of your ideals, but they also presenting to you ideas that can help the family, you don't get very many chances at that. And I would take a chance in marrying somebody like that, because when you go over our house, you look and see the stuff she got. When she come over your house, she see the stuff you got. You're like, okay, shit, we got about the same amount of shit. You know what I'm saying? So everything after that, once we say I do, it's about us and how we build our family. Hell, I mean, listen, half the stuff we got now, we don't had it too long anyway. It's good. It's about time to get some new stuff. But and those things can happen when you find somebody that's willing to build with you. And I think that's the trick bag that we sort of get ourselves in. Everybody's looking towards the finish line for themselves. But even then, you just find yourself just surviving instead of just saying, okay, I can find somebody. I'm funny looking. She's funny looking. Maybe we'll have some beautiful kids. She has a great personality. She has great humor. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just being facetious as far, even with myself. I don't think I'm the handsomest dude. Everybody don't like light-skinned dudes. That's what they say. But I didn't focus on those that say, I recognize and realize I don't waste time with that. I go to what likes me and I like them. And there's certain characters in a woman that I like more than her exterior, because I'm more of a natural type of woman. I like that. My wife don't grow no body hair, no underarm hair, very little hoo-ha hair, no leg, no. I love that shit. Like, yes.
Oh my.
I grow hair. I don't want no hair getting tangled up with my hair. I get hair on, you know what I'm saying? Contrary to what y'all see, yes, my father was a hairy guy. I got hair all the way up here if I let it grow. But I like to groom myself too, because I don't want nobody, it's a whole lot about trying to be a man, but also things I like. I like women that cook. I like the smell of aromas. I like that.
Real.
I like women that's, socially aware. I like that. You know what I'm saying? It's just me. I've always been like that. But as far as, a woman, you may get that experience once or twice. Are you ready the first time? More than likely, we ain't been ready. Maybe the second, third time we see it, but we'd be afraid. After that, we just get whatever's left over. And that goes for men and women. So you're in a great position, you know what I'm saying? You find a wife, don't waste time, because if you want to build, she's gonna help you build.
Can I ask you a question, Trey? You've been married how long? About 12 years? How long have you been married? 10 years?
11.
How'd you meet if you wouldn't mind sharing, how'd you meet your wife?
Man, we're getting gas.
Getting gas.
Yeah. I even forget the gas station. The gas station out west, but because we just started talking and connected. We talked on the phone the first time. It was 5 hours.
Wow.
We just
so you outside at the pump, because only in Jersey, Jersey, I think, is one of the only states where you don't pump your own gas here. So you're outside, you're pumping your gas. She pulls up, you just say hi. Well, I mean, what's the?
She was there. She was still sitting in the car. I pulled up, so I'm thinking, okay, she ready to move. So I'm on the other side, and she got out when I got out. And I'm an easy guy. Like, it's a nice day. I don't say like, hey, baby, you look good. And they can look good, but that's not my focus. And I don't listen. We just started talking, man. We ain't stopped talking since. We went on a trip together a weekend. Compliments to my wife, because I'm like, she like, hey, and it ain't look back. Went to a wedding actually. She saw how I move out there with the ladies. We were sitting at the table up full of ladies, and they was looking at me like, but they was seeing how I was interacting and talking. One young lady said something. I wish I had a relationship like that. I'm like, what you talking about? Y'all just talking and engaging. I said, shit, that's what we're here to do with each other. But that was always me. I could talk to
you're
people.
good. Yeah, you're good in a room.
You know what I'm saying? Especially females, to me, it ain't about, hey, come on, let's go to bed and all that. No. I want to see what your mind is like. I want to see how you're going to protect yourself in the time of protection. I want to see how you smell out the shower. I like all that quirky stuff.
Right. So was it a slow courtship? Like you said, you wound up, you talked the first time for 5 hours or whatever, or you knew pretty early on that you guys are going to be an item?
Hey, man, she showed up every time I needed her to show up. She showed up. I took her to a little place where I go get my little meat at. She fell in love with that place. She's been going there ever since. She's like, yeah. And
Wow.
it's been, hey, I go get the meat. Guess who cook it? She gonna bake it, fry it. I grill. She can't touch the grill. She can't cut the grass. Everything
Right.
else,
Right.
cleaning, mopping with some bleach.
Mm-hmm. Oh, she old
She
bleach
got
is old school. It's
yeah, she old
gosh.
school. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
very old school. Oh my God.
But we appreciate each other. She tells me all the time. I'll be surprised because I had a dream. This is my last story. I had a dream one time that she was messing around not long ago, maybe 2 months ago. I just had a dream. My dreams be all over though. You know what I'm saying? My wife, she's a homebody. She don't even like to really go nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
So I had this dream and it woke me up. So I'm looking. She was doing something. I think she was working. So I'm like, man, shit, fuck this dream. Because I kept calling. It seemed real.
Yeah.
So when I came out, I was in the kitchen and she came out of the room. And I was like, man, listen, let me tell you something. I'm gonna tell you right now. I had a dream that you was doing this and doing that. You tell me right now if that's what the fuck you want. Because goddamn it, you can take your shit
What?
and go. Yeah, I was tripping, man. I was in that listen to this YouTube shit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay. So she's like, she looked at me, she stopped what she was doing. She said, look, baby, I ain't going no fucking where. We in this shit for life. I don't give a damn what you do. But you better do that shit in respect. I said, what you mean? Because now I'm like, my heart stopped pumping fast, I'm relaxed and shit. She like, yeah, you have freedom to do everything you like to do. Just don't disrespect what we got. And I give you 100% of everything I got. I'm like, what? I'm like, whew, thank you. I said, tell you what, you can take all this shit if you want to. I don't need none of this shit. And that
Right.
just
Let me ask you a question. You were married once before too, right?
yes.
So if you had to say now,
I wasn't ready then. I was married.
You just answered my question. I was asking you.
How old were you then when you got married the first time?
I was 24. She was 22. And I don't think I really was ready for the love to give her. I was young, man. I was in the service, and I didn't disrespect her in her face, but hey, I wasn't the best. I didn't commit to that. And looking back, I'm glad I didn't, because I felt like I used to think that I'm more than what she was trying to give me. Something, you know what I'm saying? It was a funny, because I was in, yeah, it was hard to explain at the time, but then as I got older, and we've always had a good relationship. I talked to her, I wasn't never disrespectful, and if she was dating, I'd be like, make sure you protect yourself. And it just, I don't know. Then when I met my wife, she was like, hell, I talked to all of them. And it just changed, man. We've been able to get stuff, man. Because I was there, you know what I'm saying? You know how you there and you scared to take a chance? Like, man, I don't want nobody to get nothing I don't work for. I don't worked hard for everything. Done made me a few little investments, got my little nest egg over. I'm like, I'm going to sit on this forever. But then when she said, I got you, after we was dating, I'm like, oh yeah, I can't let her go. And ever since then, man, everything in my life has flourished 10 times. Everything in my life has compounded for the greater good and everything.
Yeah.
So I'm just.
That's a heck of a story, man. Because we had a show on, I think BMU a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about, people doing online dating and how, you need to move. And I know our Payne was talking about how guys are just afraid just to step up to a woman and say hi and whatnot, and guys are afraid that if I go up and say hi to a woman, she's going to drop me on IG or make a meme out of me and all that kind of stuff, whatever. But just the simplicity, how one conversation, one chance interaction change your life and change it for the better over time. And just for a lot of people who are like, just overthinking the process. I still think there's women out there to meet. I still, if I was single now, I would still be hitting the supermarket. I'd be hitting the bookstore. I'd be hitting church. Hitting the places or whatever, and just having a conversation. You know what I mean? But now, like you said, these YouTube spaces and whatnot got people so paranoid. Say if I go out, she's going, what's she going to think of me and all this kind of stuff. Just say, like, shout out to our Payne. He said, just go up to her and just say hi.
That's it.
You may get shot down or whatever, but that's not the end of the world. She's not the one.
3 out of 10. Brother Bennett.
Yeah. Hey, look, what they say in baseball, you hit 3 out of 10 in baseball, that's $40 million
The Hall of Fame.
a year, Hall of Famer, if you hit 3 out of 10. But so many people are just afraid just to not, just to take that chance on somebody, and you just never know what's gonna happen. So again, I think your story, I think honestly, my brother, I think you need to share it more. When people be talking crazy about stuff, don't be afraid to share that. That's the first time I'm hearing it. And that's a beautiful story, and people need to be willing to take some chances out there. No guts, no glory. For these men out here, don't be afraid to go up and talk about these movements and all this kind of stuff. Look, just say hi, hello. What's your name? Like you said, nice weather today. I mean, people say, "Oh, that's so goofy. That's so old school." No one says that anymore. It worked for you. And this wasn't back in the 1950s, 10 years. So this is 2014.
It's always worked for me.
So I'm just saying. So just for you to go out there and do that, people, don't be so afraid. And ladies, if you're liking a guy, it's okay to respond. Because women be like, "Oh well, he may, what are you trying to do or whatever." No, guy just comes up to you. He's not looking crazy. He's not begging you for money or whatever. Nice looking guy like Trey, or myself, or grooming, or, whoever comes up, say hi back. And stop with the game plan. If you're single, don't say, I may ask you, look, like my thing has always been, I'm gonna say, look, if I'm about to leave, I'll be like, look, I'm sorry, but are you seeing anyone? I'd really like to get to know you. Can I have your number? You know what I mean? Now, what I hate was when women used to front, be like, "Yeah, I got somebody." No, you don't.
Right.
You don't got anybody. You just got this friend hanger on, whatever, but he's not real. So if you don't got nobody, say, I'm open. Good. Let me get your number. Hey, I'd like to talk to you later. I'd like to, get to know you. Boom. But these folks today, I just think that, you got all this demons in your head, all this false evidence appearing real. That has no bearing in the what could potentially happen. But again, this is a terrific story. I mean, I'm hyping it, but
here's a question I got for both of you.
Okay. Yeah.
So, as experienced men in the dating world, at one time, this subject comes on so many often. I hear talk from so many men, non-married. I'm not talking dating, not dating, I'm not married. Keep that in mind. Says, "Oh, I'm scared to say hi to a woman because I don't know how to start the conversation." What advice can you give somebody for that?
Just do it. Hi, how you doing? My name is Paul. What's your name? What you doing? You. If I'm in the books, I used to go, Barnes or be in the book station, self-improvement section or whatever. Hey, is that a good book? I've heard that author before. Just I've gone on dates, literally with women I met in Barnes and Noble, or back then it was Borders Books and Music or whatever. Literally just having a conversation. You know what I mean? You just have to, again, a lot of that stuff, you just have to get over yourself more times than not. And again, the one that's going to be there for you is going to be there for you. Shout out to K Soul, long time brother. Haven't seen in a minute. Good to see you. So I never used to ask for a number, really. I'd make them smile and a laugh, and then they always want to stay in touch. Same thing. You know what I mean? Just do it. You know what I mean? So I think that, again, a lot of the fears out there, again, it's not even real. It's beyond your reality. But that's what social media, I think, has done to so many people. Just warp it out. And it's always been told one half of the world is waiting for the other half of the world to say hello to them. You know what I mean? And you just gotta, you just have to do it. Don't overthink it. So that's any wisdom I might have. And again, I struck out a lot, but like I said, my wife, we actually were at the office. It started just very platonic. Her coworker said, "I need to take my wife out," because we used to started hanging out at the break. They had like a big corporate cafeteria, We just hang out all the time. It was a whole table full of us. I mean, we just talk about everything, politics, all kinds of stuff. We just talk about. And then one day I just went by to say hello to them because they sat together, and the woman was like, "When you taking Dottie out?" And she was like, "That was," and she almost said, "Order me, you better take that woman out." I mean, so she was, and I wasn't even feeling her like that.
In front of her, in front of your wife.
No, she wasn't there. Like this, I went to say hi. My wife wasn't there, but the other one was, and she just was like demanding, like, yeah. And again, we weren't vibing like that. We weren't, but I guess she saw something in us that's like, look, y'all need to get together. But even then, it was just a conversation. It was just a talk. But I told her at the time, look, I'm very marriage minded. I'm not wasting time. She was very marriage minded also, and it just moved very quickly. Like I said, less than 3 months from my first date, I knew I was going to marry her. I proposed after 6. We got married after 10. So again, when you're intentional like that, you don't got to be dating a woman for 5-6 years to say, okay, now you want to get married. You just move on and let's get this thing going. In fact, it could have been a lot less. Her mom wanted the big wedding, so her mom was like, nah, you're not going to City Hall. You're not doing some small thing. No, I got to get, we got to plan this out because this is like her mother's dream. So she wasn't going to let her go by just with some small time. That's what took the time. It had nothing to do with whether or not I could have married the day I said I was going to marry. I could have married her that day. We could have went, adjusted a piece or whatever, put in $100. I could have been good with it. But, she needed to, that was all, my wife, she was just along for the ride. But yeah, it doesn't take that much. But again, so much is in here that's blocking brothers from just going out there and just meeting people. You just gotta put the work in.
Yeah. It seemed to be blocking both sides. You know what I'm saying? Because think
about like I said, women. Yeah, the fronting that women do. That's like I said, that's the thing that just always got me. It's okay, you don't have anybody serious,
right? But brother Bennett, you've been married over 20 years, right?
Yeah, my 28th year. Yep.
Okay, so let's go back to the same time frame in your early 30s, just like what we discovered about the Greek man getting married in the early 30s. Those are the times in your life where you looking a little bit more with intention to find somebody like that. It's really on the man and the women, because I listen to women and work with a lot of women, and in their 20s, they have fun. Remember, I was young, I was in my 20s. 30, they get a little more intention about being married, but they can't let go of their 20s. And men, a lot of times want to be married in a sense, but then they may have that bad experience, be like, nah, fuck that, I ain't married nobody. Everybody's like, but it's like it's more of that fighting for 20 years. They've been fighting. It's like the fight. Nobody wants to build anything together. Everybody's looking for a way out before they get in. Like, I wouldn't do that because, and it's not based off, and a lot of it is not even based off anecdotal experience. It's just based off, well, I heard, I seen, I know somebody that had these type of experiences, and instead of just trying it for yourself, because if you're that type of person, a woman is going to sort of submit to you naturally and be willing to work and build with you naturally. It shouldn't be a fight. But I think women can see that in some men once they spend some time with him and talk about him, because he's going to be there. And the man, if he's not, he's going to show you those behaviors. So behaviors have to be looked at with intention on both sides.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
You ain't going to marry nobody.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
I don't know.
Shout out, I see, again, Lost in Translation. Thank you for stopping through tonight, Queso. Again, I already acknowledged you earlier. Trey Taylor's came in, got some smoke for us on the way in. It's open mic tonight. So, again, if you go back in the chat, there's a link. You guys we're just chopping it up tonight. This is our open line. This is our open talk. Nothing formal. This is just organic conversation that we're having. So, again, feel free to come up if you have anything to share with us. So again, we just chatting it up in the time. In fact, again, the time flies as it is. We got about 17 minutes left in the show. So if you want to join us in for the conclusion of the show, it's open to you. So again, outdated and archaic, certainly we can we can talk about it.
I think that's debatable.
But
okay, comedy made like archaic in debate, ancient, whatever, because you never know when you can meet somebody. You could be at the gym, you could be going to the store, getting gas, work, walking the dog. I can go on and on. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. Yeah.
You know, it could
That's
be
the thing
anyone.
too. I mean, I've been to, like I said, I was already married at that time. The dog park, that's almost where if you I'm thinking anytime I take my dog there, we got one in town here. Anytime Lord, I'm
You
thinking,
never.
man, this is a magnet place, man. If you got your dog, especially if you got the same breed of dog you out there, there's a lot of single women got their fur babies out there. So you go you go out with your dog. Hey, let him play. Hey, what's your name? You know, take up a conversation. Take up a conversation there. I mean, it's possible. So yeah, the dog park. I mean that's I always that was the first thing I observed. Yeah, I could definitely meet some women here. If I wanted to, and again, guys with dogs. If you're into dogs, then again, if you see a person with a dog, for a lot of them, they find that an attractive quality. It says, look, you have compassion, you have sensitivity to care for an animal or whatnot. That draws some people. So yeah. But again, waste his time on a woman. However, when she appears to be ready, do men say don't waste time? Yeah, a good point. It's a very good point.
One of the best
King Bar
advice I can give
111,
anybody.
shout out to you. Thanks for joining us tonight on this show. Again, we got about 15 minutes left in the show. It's our open line. If you just want to come up, drop a comment to us or on the show, anything we talked about in the past, any topics that you would like to see explored in the future. Again, the mic is open. Again, we got 15 minutes in the show before we shut this down. But again, we do these shows once about every 4 or 5 episodes. We're going to do an open mic show. So again, if you've been following us, any shows or any content, any topics that we've talked about in the past that you'd like to bring up again and revisit from a conversation that we had earlier, you're more than welcome to it. But again, we want to have this kind of engagement. So again, you're more than free to drop on through tonight. So, but go ahead, Grooming or Trey. I forget who's gonna.
So, what Trey was saying in the comments is like it's a red flag for him. I personally disagree. I think it's actually a great way to meet a woman.
Mhm.
It's a first icebreaker. Like we both have dogs. We both like animal. It doesn't have to be the same breed. It could be a husky versus a dachshund, or dachshund versus a golden retriever, or a great Bane versus a Chihuahua.
Mhm.
Whatever. If that ice breaks helps, is because of the dog.
Mhm.
Go for it.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna
Yeah.
respectfully disagree with him on this point.
Right. And for me, it's like now it's weird. Man, my wife had to. She's grown to love, and I mean love hard, our dog. Again, for the first few years, talking to her, convincing her to have a dog. I've always loved dogs. That wasn't necessarily a
Mhm.
thing early on, but she loves our dog. Right? I mean, totally dotes on him and everything. But for me, certainly that would be an attractive quality. Someone who's into that. That would be more a turn off to me, more so than a turn on to me, more so than
I agree.
than a turn on. Again, especially if we rocking the same breeds, then yeah, we can definitely talk about that's just because again, a lot of it's just having that initial conversation. Because I think some of the fear that we talked about earlier is, or the question that you raised is, what do you talk about? How do you start a conversation? Well, start on something that's common. Like I said, back in the day when you were in the the books, the self improvement or whatever section that you were in or whatever, talking about whatever Stephen Covey or whatever the title of the book was, you could certainly talk about that. But I think we have Trey Taylor. I think he is in the background. Show Trey, you with us?
Yeah, well,
How you doing, sir? Good to see you.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. What's on your mind?
Well, I think there's a very old school idea you guys have of how men are meeting women. You're not going to bump into a woman in the self improvement aisle in the bookstore because most women don't even know what the damn bookstore is at.
Mm.
Let alone go in and actually buy books.
Mm-hmm.
He does have a good point there.
That's kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Dogs are a red flag.
Mm-hmm.
You get a 30+ year old woman that has a dog, run away from her, because there's a reason why she's 30 plus years old with a dog.
Hmm.
There's a reason for that. That's not a
Hmm.
coincidence that she has supplemented children and a husband with a canine.
Hmm.
I have a grandmother who's 84 years old. She's outlived 3 dogs. She's
Right.
outlived 3 dogs.
Right.
Okay. There's a reason why she has a dog. It's because she's incapable of maintaining a relationship with a man. So
Hmm.
this idea of going to a dog park and meeting a woman who has a dog, you're setting yourself up for failure.
Hmm.
And I think that we have these ideas of, well, this worked back in the day, or this was a Hallmark movie or a landmark, or some sort of romantic comedy. That stuff doesn't work anymore. It just doesn't work.
Hmm.
And maybe for Gen X women, maybe for Boomer women, maybe that might work. When you start getting to millennials, and I'll be 40 in December, and I'm a millennial.
Hmm.
So when you
Right.
start to get to millennial women and Gen Z women, that stuff does not work. It just doesn't work.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
you're going to be hard pressed to find decent women at those locations.
Okay. Okay. So, from your experience, since you're saying those things aren't working, certainly for that, what do you find then that tends to work in terms of meeting places, in terms of the approach? What would you have to offer? Because you're right. I mean, we can only talk from our experience here. So, what have you seen where you've had success, or you've seen people with the younger millennials and Zers that has been working for them, that's leading to again at least the process of data. Again, nothing is going to be guaranteed, but at least to get something started. What tends to be popular in these times? Because even if me and Trey, even if we just tomorrow, we just left our wives tomorrow, we got divorced, whatever it was, we're probably going to still stay in the lanes that we're in, because again, more than likely the women that we're going to be meeting, as you said, are going to be those Gen X baby boomer women. So we may still do what we do. But for your age bracket, what seems to be effective?
Well, majority of younger people are meeting online. If you go and look at the statistics, majority of these relationships are being started either through dating apps or Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, something along those lines. Or they're gamers, they're meeting on Twitch, they're meeting somewhere along those lines. That's how a lot of them are meeting.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of couples are forming and they're meeting at like Comic Cons and things like that, where they're doing cosplay, stuff like that. They have these actual legit um, hobbies or things in common. They're meeting at those places, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, uh, it's still some of the old fashioned way. A lot of people are still meeting. A lot of the younger people are still meeting at work. They're meeting each other at places of employment, and they're dating each other.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one is it's a friend of a friend. They meet at house parties, little kickbacks,
Mm-hmm.
or outings. They meet
Mm-hmm.
that way. But
Mm-hmm.
the old we bump into each other on the street, and then your dog gets entangled with my dog, and then we got to work the leash out, and that's movie stuff. That rarely happens. Most of these younger people are legitimately meeting because she made a reel on Instagram and he slid in her DMs, and that's how they're meeting.
Mm-hmm.
So Trey, even with that method, right? I think yes, for a modern time, that's a good method. So you can take the time frame out of it. But even in that meeting method, are those people meeting with intention to build, or just intention to have fun and all the little
You
crazy
know,
stuff that
you,
we see
you know,
in the streets?
I think the thought process is that everybody's supposed to have some sort of intention. I don't believe that the older generations had all this intention they claim to have. I don't. I don't believe it. The statistics and the single parent homes would suggest otherwise. I think that that's something that older people say as they get older and then they get married. And oh well, we had intention. I don't think that when they were 23, 24, they had all this intention. Maybe a few did, maybe a handful did, but I think the majority of the older folk didn't have all this intention. I don't believe that the younger people have intention either. And I don't know why a 23-year-old man who's who's starting to build his life and his career would want to have that intention. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I can understand why a 23-year-old woman would. That would make sense. She needs that stability. But in this day and age with feminism and all the other stuff where they believe that they are just as equal to a man and they make as much money as men do, they don't have intention either. So you have both sides. Nobody has any intention. The only intention they have, really, truly deep down inside, is pleasure. That's the real intention, is to satisfy their dopamine addiction and their pleasure principles.
Gotcha. Brother Lost in Translation has certainly chosen to grace us tonight. Good to be with you once again. Again, great show on Friday in the barbershop. That was, y'all went there that night. But good to be good to have you up here again, and thank you for joining us and gracing our show. What do you have to say on just open topic again? Anything that's been talked about tonight or in the past, or just anything you want to share? So the floor is yours.
Yeah, I think that Trey brings up some good points that sometimes you got to mix things up and change things up a little bit. I can tell you what has happened though. Meeting up in singles groups. You know what I'm saying? I've seen a lot of people, meet up in singles group. I've seen people get married out of singles groups, have kids, all type of foolishness. You know what I'm saying? And they had an opportunity to see how they interact with other people before they actually start to talk to that person. Because think about it, in an open conversation, before there's pressure of trying to get to know somebody, you're actually watching, you know what I'm saying, whether or not this person, like Trey says, is a feminist or not, or somebody who pretty much sees eye to eye, you know what I mean? And that way you can lead into the conversation and say, hey, look, that was a cool conversation last week that you had with XYZ in the group. Listen, if you don't mind, I'd like for you to, I'd like to have your number or whatever, and we can talk a little bit more about it. And from there, you build up the conversation. You know what I'm saying? You want to at least have that person to like you, you know what I'm saying, before you start putting the full court press on them. You know what I'm saying? And not only that, you want to make sure that this is somebody it's somebody you want to be with. Sometimes people could put on the front if they know that their resume is on the table for critique, but it's another thing for you to get to know somebody and allow that person grace and say, I know where they're coming from. I can see that, one of those type of things. But for the most part, yeah, you got to try different things. Now, as far as the dating sites, I don't do that anymore because we live in a world full of catfish. You know what I'm saying? People love putting on them good clothes and them good angles. You know what I'm saying? I'm a type of person where I got to see you in person. I need to see.
Well, it's scarier now, because I've been seeing this trend and like all these women I know with these AI pictures.
Oh yes,
that are just like, I mean, you're kidding me. It's like it's a joke now. What they're doing, the de-aging. It's like that's not your body,
man. Listen.
I'm like, I'd be scared now with that AI stuff. I ain't gonna lie to you, man.
The fantasy.
What are you talking about?
It's much better.
Now, all these pictures now, like if you go to Facebook or whatever, you see all these women taking these pictures with these AI apps. And the AI apps are having them come up with these 10 bodies. They're de-aged 20 years. They got the hair flowing. They got all this stuff, these just vivid images of themselves. And they've been just, it's almost like,
background,
it's almost like an addiction because they just keep posting back before that. But like last year, you would just see them in their natural, they took the time to make themselves look good. And now they're just posting all these AI pictures. I'm like, that ain't you. I know what you look like in person.
Paul, you gave me a very good point here. That I'm not the AI part. I see when I was on the dating site. Let me rephrase that. A lot of girls will post like 20, 30 pictures of themselves when their experts like makeup is on point, clothes on point, shoes, whatever, right? But when you actually meet them, like, you're not like your pictures.
Man, listen, I've gotten catfish with video before. Can you believe that? Brother, she was laying down in the park, had the phone at the right angle. I'm like, oh yeah, that's bad. I said, yeah, we're gonna meet at the movies. Man, I looked in the parking lot. I'm like, man, how did she hide the extra 100 pounds? You know what I'm saying? Hey, I just talked to you yesterday. You sent me that video yesterday. Where all that come from? You know what I'm saying? Like, what happened? You know what I mean? So I don't like doing the catfish and the online thing, man.
I had a process when I met somebody online. Process number one was I talk to you and text you on the phone. Process number two, I wanted a full body picture. Process number three.
Like that. They don't like that, man.
Too bad.
You ask for a full body picture, the conversation gonna go south. Trust me. Trust me. As somebody who dives in the DMs,
well.
they're gonna like,
And
and
my
why y'all
response,
always want to know about the full body picture, you know?
because I don't want to be catfished. Simple as that.
Mm.
I tell them straight up.
Listen,
Like-
catfishing is not a new thing.
Tell them
Remember the
about it.
movie-
I've been getting catfish since '88.
Remember the
baby, you
movie?
know what I'm
Remember
saying?
the movie Friday? Remember Friday when Smokey got
Yeah.
catfished
Oh,
over the
God.
phone?
You're going back to it's
No,
1975.
but that's what I'm saying. It's been going on for a long time as far as catfish.
You're right, Trey.
Mm.
I'm not going to sit there and argue. That's 100% right. It's been going on since before time existed.
Mm.
That's how long it is. I know. I hear stories that guys are actually meeting women. They think they're women, but they're not women. And
Oh, that's a whole nother.
Yeah.
And don't
Yeah.
you can't go and you can't go to the club. Don't meet the woman at the club anymore either,
Nope.
because
I'm-
that lighting, that dark room in the club can hide some things, and you don't know who you dancing with or who's trying to come up.
or in Lost
Nope.
case,
Nope.
movies.
You see him in the daylight, the lights
on.
on.
Fights in the movies.
Nope, I'm not letting you give that a pass. These men know exactly what they're doing. They know
Yeah,
exactly
yeah.
what's in front of them. You
They
can
know.
tell. All you gotta do is look at the size of the hands
And the
and look,
feet.
and look at the thickness of the neck, and look at the feet, and you know that something's a little off here. One of the things I am very famous for telling a woman is, you got some big ass feet.
Yeah.
I say that shit all the time. Why are your feet
Mhm.
so big? Some of these women have got extremely large feet, and
Mhm.
it's off putting. It's weird. I women are supposed to be small and dainty. You know what I mean? Like to see a woman
Ain't
and
your
she got
grandma's name,
these,
Trey.
she wearing these Tims, her Tims as long as yours. It's a little scary. So I don't believe that these men don't know that these aren't women. They absolutely know. Listen, this is why I've said, and this again is a change. This is something that the older crowd needs to understand, that a lot of men now aren't even asking for phone numbers. I have stopped asking for phone numbers. I don't even ask for phone number anymore. Let me see your Instagram. Your Instagram
Right.
is your resume now. I want to look at that Instagram because it's going to tell me everything I need to know about you. If every picture on there has a filter on it, what do I know? You have bad skin, more than likely. You probably have bad skin, and you probably are not. You're probably insecure about your physique, right? There's a lot that we told about it. If I see you shaking ass and dancing on tables, well, I know what type of woman you are. I know what category to put you in. When men are not asking, that's a huge change. So we talk. I know our pain likes to talk, oh, they're all the same. They're not. Things have changed. Whereas now I get to check your resume before I even really take you out on a dinner. You didn't necessarily get that option back in the day when you were sitting on the phone cupcaking all night. Now I can actually go through and see where she works, what type of job she has, where does she party at, what hobby she's into. I can do all that before I actually take her out. It's important to know. But when you go through these Instagrams, you see, filtered picture after filtered picture after filtered picture. It will tell you.
And like I said, the AI is making it worse now. I mean, it's,
Trey, let me tell you, one time, man, I went to go compliment this chick on her freckles. You know what I'm saying? Because I got freckles. You know what she told me? That's a filter.
It's a filter.
I'm like, what?
You
done ruined our point of
so
commonality.
they're using the filters to make them look the other way.
They putting fake ones on.
You fake the freckles.
They putting
Faking the freckles.
Come on.
I got real freckles, man. You know what I'm saying? I got real chocolate chips. You right here faking.
Wild as hell.
Fake the freckles, the tags, everything. Man,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
But isn't that a unique way to eliminate those women that you really don't want, though? Just by that, that's using the technology to eliminate unnecessary issues in your life, right? Use that technology, especially men, like Trey said. Okay, it can be a resume, but I think it's going to take a more strength on the men. So when you see them shaking their cheeks all over every picture and got on all these filters, you shouldn't go no further than
Black
looking at
David
the video.
Black David using a filter right now. He is not that light. He using that. There it is. There you go. Take the filter off.
He's not that light.
Trey, you just come in and she's throwing shots, man. Why?
You know what?
Me and Black David, y'all don't know this. Me and Black David.
Well, for once, I gotta agree with Trey.
That's
There's no way David smiles, looks how white he sees.
I would take my
he
dark
sees a
skin ass and
faded
go somewhere
shit.
else.
I know your teeth, my man, are stained as shit.
That's my guy. Black David's my guy.
Yeah, it's all I got. Couldn't do this without him. Absolutely. Like Dave, you got a comment here. So we talking about the meeting through the generations. Again, for me, because of the AI, because of the filters and all that, I'd rather just meet you in the dairy section at the supermarket or whatever. The most natural environment I can meet you in. I'd rather shoot my shot and either get turned down or what have you.
They don't shop for food. They Instacart.
I don't think you want to hear from me because I went worse than that. I had to go further. I said, first of all, when you go to date, can I see your birth certificate? I want to make sure you're actually a woman.
So you finna get slammed, Black David.
No, I'm in New York City right now.
Actually meets women at the dentist.
You finna be Black and Blue David.
That's what you do, Black David. That's what you do. You ask her to bring 2 forms of identification: her driver's license and her work ID. She can't fake them two. You can't put a filter on your driver's license. You can't put a filter on your work ID. Man, typically, you're gonna get the real her out of them 2 pictures.
Mr. Bennett, could you imagine? You telling your kids your story, man. I met your mama in the grocery aisle and I asked for 2 forms of identification. How sexy is that? You know what I'm saying? How sexy is that?
It's a different time.
Come on.
Time.
Hold on. There's nothing wrong asking for ID because now these days you got the filters, you got the fake eyelashes, you got the fake dimples, fake hairline, fake chest, fake back, fake everything. Now you got transformers more than meet the eye. Hello, I need information before I make the mistake. I do not want to be clowned on and we say, yo, he dated a dude. He didn't know who to do. No, I'm in Brooklyn, New York.
He knew it was
I'm in Brooklyn. No, it ain't no new. You know how people like to fake it till they make it.
If you got hands, you'll know if it's a guy.
They know.
You know.
Mr. Bennett, let me tell you something, man. The old tried and true, man. Ladies, all you got to do is wash your face and put on a sundress. Oh, yes, we can handle it from there. We can handle it from there.
Well, that, I don't know, call me crazy, but back in the day, just go to the laundromat with your curls on and your spandex stubble. Let me see. I think even take heed to the message. I think she said she met her husband at the laundromat. Sure, or he was scoping her for a while, and he was like, can you help me with my laundry? So again, but I used like I said, Saturday afternoon, you just running your errands to the dry cleaner, whatever. I just want to see you in your natural. I don't want makeup. I don't want. You can even have the rollers back in the 70s. Sister be out with her rollers on and that little hair thing on or whatever, and just doing her stuff or whatever because she's going out Saturday night. So she would be in roller. I'd be like, that's all I need to see. I don't, the makeup thing, like even to this day, my wife wears very little, if no makeup at all, after all this time. Mr. Bennett, and so the most natural I can see him, the better.
Mr. Bennett, you getting pajama pants and Crocs now. That's what you get.
Hey, with pink, what you call it, with pink on the booty. Pajama pants, you know what I'm saying? Trey know what
but if she's got if she's got what I want, I'm still gonna see the goodies. So I'm gonna know if I'm gonna still know if it's real or not.
But I can't do it. You know what I think when I see women who walk out the house like that? I just think you have such a lack of self-awareness, and you are so lazy. That you can't be bothered to just put on some normal clothes. Like like you are so lazy that you walked out of the house with pajama pants, you just threw your feet in some Crocs, and you came out to do whatever errands you had to do that day. It bothers me because I'm like, well, what else are you lazy about? You know what I mean?
Trey,
what else are you lazy? Are you going to teach that to our kids to be
lazy? That's what she is. That's why you avoid it.
That's the Brooklyn uniform right now for a lot of these females out here. Pajama pants and Crocs. They're going to the corner store, they're going to the laundromat. That
might be the thing right now. But my thing is, look, I want to see what you're going to look like when I roll up. When we in bed and you wake up in the morning, that's how I want to see you. So, and if you still fly in, I'm still going to smash it right then and there. So,
trick me.
You know what I'm saying? If you could look that good in the morning with your rollers in your hair, and I'm like, man, you look good. I'm smashing you right there. So if I could see you like that, hey, all the better.
So hear me out a second. So my girl is not a big makeup person. She never has. She wears once in a while, but she still looks good.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't need to wear clown face to look good.
Yeah, that's yeah.
You know, a lot
Drag
of them
like
wear
a drag queen.
I'm not saying you can't. They go can put some makeup, but when they put more makeup than a clown, come on now.
Yeah,
You know what?
I don't even like perfume. You know what I mean? If you're
That
gonna
I
wear,
would disagree.
coconut oil or whatever you put on your skin, natural oils or whatever. But that head, if I walk past you and I can smell your perfume 10 feet after I pass you, I'm like, no. You know,
Mr. Bennett,
my
you
daughters
just
sometimes they'll put it on a little extra. It's like, what are you doing?
That's the
I'm smelling you from down. I'm downstairs. I smell you all the way up here. What are you putting on? Oh,
you
daddy,
Trying to
it's my
catch a
new. It's
man.
like, no, that's not how it.
You tripping, Mr.
Trying to catch a
Bennett.
man quick.
These women do not eat healthy enough, nor do they drink enough water to try to be natural. They funky. Okay? These women are funky.
See,
All right.
I told you they got their
If they
time.
had
I'm
a
just saying it.
healthy
They got
diet
their
and
time.
drank enough water, I would be right
Ooh.
there with you, Mr. Bennett. But when all
Well,
they
look,
eat,
what's
when
gonna be
all
in
they
it?
eat
Look,
is
if you funky, I'm
fast food,
not gonna rock it with you though. I'm saying without nothing on, just your natural, scent or your musk, or like I said, maybe some coconut oil or something else that some natural body oil or something on. That's
Hold
that's
on,
it.
hold
they
on.
gonna give you
If
some
you pass the
natural
smell
body oil.
test there,
You gonna get
everything
that.
else is
Mr.
taken
Bennett,
care of.
Mr. Bennett.
But now, but if your funk trail is like remember like when Pepe Le Pew used to walk by people and they'd be like,
Listen,
Crazy.
if I get that, yeah, I'm not, yeah, I don't need to
these
come see you.
You're
millennial
not trying to
women
take
are
it to the
these
Casbah
millennial
with that phone.
Take me to the
Don't go together.
Take me
these
to the
millennial women
Casbah.
are funkier than George Clinton
Oh
and
Lord.
Parliament. They are
Parliament
Oh
funky
my
devil.
God.
funky, bruh.
Man.
And, Paul, I'm gonna disagree with you. But personally, I like a woman who smells good all the time. Like a little FIFA perfume, I'm good with that. If that scent attracts to me, I don't care.
Like I said, bro,
But
I wake up this in the morning with my morning wood. You right there. I come up on you, however that is. If you looking good to me, I'm smashing it.
welcome to La La Land.
That's
what?
enough. You're not wearing perfume to bed. You're not in makeup in bed. Your hair's not done in bed. You might even have a little morning breath or whatever. I don't know, but I'm just saying, in your natural,
Mr.
I'm
Bennett,
gonna hit it.
Your hair's always done.
Mr. Bennett, it's a true story. When I was stationed in New Jersey, I dated a woman, and she would wake up before me to do her hair and to do her makeup. I actually never saw her until probably about a couple of weeks before we broke up. I actually saw her in her natural state because she would purposely wake up before me to get herself together so that I always saw her at her best. I think it's just a different time. I don't know how to explain
Well,
it.
you were
It's
dating
just
Santa
a
Claus,
different
wasn't
time.
Yeah, she got low
Ninja.
self-esteem.
Hold on, Trey. You were dating a ninja?
Yeah, she just had low self-esteem.
Nah, she wasn't a ninja. She was just
Booty warrior.
her the way she was raised. The way she was raised is
No,
that
she had no
you're not supposed to let your man ever see you like relax, like super comfortable, relaxed. Now that would later change.
How you
I
gonna
dated
cover
some
that
women
up,
who
man?
had
Coming about the shower, man.
holy socks and holy sweatpants, and they didn't really care. You know what I mean? But this one in particular, I'll never forget her because I almost didn't recognize it until we were starting to go through a breakup, and I was realizing like, wait, that's your real skin, like that's your real face. Like there's no makeup. You don't have any makeup on. And she had great skin, which was surprising because I would just naturally assume that she didn't have good skin with all the makeup she wore, but she had great skin. I was like, and you could tell she was like, well, we're going through a breakup and I'm kind of depressed. And I'm like, so why couldn't you be your normal, natural self when we were together?
You should have roughed up a little bit, Trey.
Stacy B79 talking about you got women going to bed in makeup and whatnot, which is horrible for your pores. I mean, you want to talk about one, you're going to stain your sheets up, your pillows up with that. But again, you're going to cause all those acne and whatnot because, you got to clean those. In fact, washing your face at night is the most important time to do it, not in the morning even. But before you go to bed is when you need to do your major skincare before you go to bed. So,
and
you know what, Mr. Bennett? Mr. Bennett, I don't understand is that guys have good skin. We don't go through all them regimens and all that other moisturizers and
I'm sorry,
SPF
I do.
15.
I'm
I
You know
sorry.
what I
do.
think? I
Speak
think
for
the
the
Yeah,
women
country.
are
I'm a Metro
jealous.
guy. Yeah,
I'm
I do.
moisturized, brother.
Listen, I
Yeah.
think the women are jealous that we can just wake up like this. You know what I'm saying? And just
Oh
be
Lord.
naturally, you know
Oh
what I'm saying, in
no.
nature. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
So now
no.
they have to wear the makeup because they're supposed to be the beautiful ones. You know what I'm saying?
Nah,
That's
I
Lord,
what
do.
it
I
is.
do.
Lord, you
I
don't
do the
start trouble
facial
right
wash.
now.
I do the exfoliator. I do the alpha hydroxyapatite after I shave. I got a process, man. My wife can't stand me because of that. I take more. I take more time in the bathroom getting ready than she does. So
And I got beard oil. I got beard moisturizer.
yeah.
I got
Oh,
all
man,
types of
that.
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah. I
And
got
Trey, we
this.
were saying
Green
earlier,
beard.
back in the day, they didn't have all that beard treatment
Nah, not
until
for
like
us.
like in the 90s. Nobody was rocking unless you were like doing like you were putting olive oil in there, some shea butter, some natural stuff.
Yeah,
There
if you
wasn't even a market for beard care
If
We had
back
if
in
the
the day.
women were hip in your
Mr.
family,
Bennett.
the women in
Because
your
they didn't
family
care about you
might
back in the
mix you
day.
up
That was the
something. They might
problem. They
no,
mix
didn't
you
care
up.
about you.
no, hold up. No, Black David. Brothers back then, we understood grooming early. We understood how to shave. We were grooming early. I'm telling you, we were grooming early, and that's the thing. A lot of that stuff absorbs into our skin. Look at these brothers who's growing this long, thick ass hair. They hardly wash it. They hardly do anything. Sisters can do the same thing, but I don't think they like their hair.
Mr.
And a
Bennett,
lot of women don't have the self confidence.
What's up?
It
Vaseline.
blocks your skin needs moisture.
You
Yeah,
wait a minute.
That's
In
what
your
we
beard
had.
though? Hang on. You would put Vaseline in your beard?
We had Vaseline. That's it.
Yeah, just a
That's
little bit.
it. That's all we had was
All right,
Vaseline,
hang on.
man.
Now the
That
grooming
you had
is
that. You had Afro Sheen
Maybe
and
cocoa butter, you know.
Drax
if you was going out.
Drax wave pomade or whatever. But I thought back in the day I thought brothers would use like mineral oil or something like that for beard care. But
We had Vaseline, brother.
alcohol on my face,
Vaseline.
shave, no breakouts.
Whatever you had left over from greasing your legs up, you wipe the rest of that off
So
on your hand, your face.
That's
I'm
it.
a little bit younger than y'all, so I grew up with like Stridex and all of that, like to clean out your pores and all.
yeah,
that
the
stuff.
algae, yeah.
We had all that stuff. Man.
Maybe because we stay in the sun a whole lot,
I
we sweat it all out,
didn't get my
impurities
first
Y'all
out.
forgot
There you
this
go.
one right
There
here.
you go,
The
Lord.
oldest of them
Get
all.
it all out, man.
Old Spice.
I still rock Old Spice.
Y'all sleeping on Old Spice.
Old Spice.
There's a reason why Old Spice been around for 100 years. You know what I'm saying? Ask your girl who she like Old Spice. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, little like Old Spice, she the real.
I'm telling you,
No
had your
man.
leg cocked up on the table like
And then we
Captain
have
Morgan.
this.
You
Got
know what I'm
Jax
saying?
out there.
We
Irish
had that's right. We had Irish Spring, Zest, and Vaseline. That's all you needed.
Man.
And borrow some of your folks' cologne every now and then. Get
Lost, you always rock the beard?
always, man.
Always had a beard?
my man.
I grew mine late.
He's known as a beer is.
Yeah. And how would you back then? You would just brush it? How'd you grow it in? Or was it natural?
It just it has not always been like this.
Mhm.
Because when I was younger, it took a while for my beard. My beard didn't really kick in until I was about like 30, man.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? I would
Right.
always, shave it or what. I was about as smooth as Trey Ferg. You know what I'm saying? My face was smooth.
Man.
Now all of a sudden one day I just said, you know what? I ain't cutting it no more. And it was on and popping after that. You know what I'm saying? So
Now, Lost, what's your routine in the beard?
basically what it is, I have shea butter and beard oil, and that's it, man. Mix them two together, and that's
mix
it.
them up.
And keep it trimmed,
Right.
and that's it.
Is that the longest has it been longer in the past?
No, this is as long as I'm gonna keep it because it doesn't hold its shape. It don't look neat when it's too long. I like my beard closer to my face. You know what I'm saying?
If I may, so what is called with the beard? You have to go through several awkward phases to get to the length you want and shape if you want.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you what stopped me from shaving. I used to get real bad razor bumps. You know what I'm saying? And my hair is real thick and curly, so when it curls back into your skin, it's irritating. So all of a sudden, I just said, you know what? Forget it. I'm just gonna grow a beard. I was like, that looks much better. You know what I'm saying? So I just let it hang like that. And what I didn't realize is that my beard is actually red. It's not brown. It's not black. It's red. And women love pulling on red beards. You know what I'm saying? Because they ain't never seen nothing like that before.
So
the
only thing I would recommend is switching to a beer butter versus what you're doing. You can be a lot better. I can recommend a couple companies. There are a bunch of them out there.
Yeah.
Most oils in store are horrible because they have fiberglass in it. If you're buying from the store,
No.
you'll
I
just call.
use jojoba and
Yeah.
That's a very good one. It's a
and shea
blend
butter
you
and
want.
mix it up. Yeah, whip it
Yeah,
up,
it is a
man.
blend usually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can recommend it. The only one I recommend from a store is only one, but it stinks. It's Honest Amish. But the other some ones you can get like I like the cologne smell personally, me.
Yeah.
But I can recommend a couple of them if you want.
But Grimmy, here's a unique thing, especially for us, some of us fur skins. The skin is a little bit more sensitive. I like, lost in translation, my hair would grow back into my face right. So I've been doing the same thing since I've been
Okay, so
cutting hair.
first of all, I have
as a
helped
kid.
dark skinned brothers
No,
grow a bigger beard than mine.
but
The
what
one
I'm
thing I
saying
always
is
recommend.
just the texture of the skin, because
Yeah, I'm
if we
like
use
I always
a
recommend.
razor, if we use a razor too much, then it'll get dull and it can harm our skin as we shave.
Right.
Now, me,
I have
since
very, very sensitive skin. I know.
I started shaving probably when I was maybe first year of college, but I've always cut my hair. So after I cut my hair, after I would shower, then I would just fill my hand up with alcohol, and I would just splash the alcohol on my face and my head, and I never broke out. And so that's worked for me. Everybody can't handle that sting, but it stings one time, then it goes away. And my beard, it
That's
never grew
totally
full.
understandable. What I'm saying with the beard is like I have very sensitive skin. I cannot use disposable ones. I gotta use a straight razor. That's how sensitive my skin is.
Yeah, I use
And
that
I
on my beard.
and I have
Yeah,
to
but
use a
I have curls back
simple
into the
artist
skin, so
shaving.
we can't be doing that.
I was gonna say, grooming. Do you get pseudo folliculitis?
Huh?
Exactly.
Beard bumps.
Exactly.
Beard bumps.
Exactly.
Ingrown hairs, basically.
Yeah, I get those all the time. That's why I don't shave. I hate shaving.
Yeah, I
I
was
think
curls back up, and it's nasty, man.
if you take a beard
She ain't be
brush
looking
or a
like
wooden
Rice
broom
Krispies, you know?
and go and comb it out, you'll avoid that completely. You can
No.
sit there all you want.
Nah,
I
No.
bet you. I will bet
No.
you $100.
Nah,
No,
that's not how it works for us.
because we sleep on our face and our hair still grows, and a lot of times, even in
You're
sleep,
supposed to brush it twice a day.
curl. So yeah, I would just say like we do. We get those tweezers when they come early, and you get it out, get it to pull out your skin so it can grow, and it'll smooth itself over.
No, the best thing to do is
Got to.
how close you shave to your skin. You have to leave some of the hair out.
Exposed.
You have to leave some of it exposed. The problem with a lot of black men is they want to get a close shave. That doesn't work for us. We can't do close shaves.
Yeah.
You know what I found that works, Trey?
A little light stubble sometimes.
I can get that.
It's about as close as we can go.
Trey, you know what I found that really works, man? Those foil shavers. They take it down close to the skin, but it's not all the way close. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Me personally, I just use the clippers the barber used to line you up.
Yep.
I just use those. That's more than enough for me.
Yeah, I can't use that. That'll break me out. I got a friend that can only use that. He can't, like me, I can use a both straight razor. That's what I do to do my face. And then I use a 4-blade razor and I can shave going up on my skin too. That's how I shave.
Well, then you ain't that sensitive, Trey, because if I did that, my face would look like.
But what I'm saying is, if I do it like 2 or 3 days after I shave one time, it'll break me out. So I have to wait like 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
Like in between each shave. And I can shave. As long as my razor is straight, I shave up and against the grain because I like it.
The best way to shave with a straight razor is after the shower because it opens your pores. Then use a pre-oil shaving or pre-oil shave is the biggest thing. If you have that, you can shave upwards so you won't break out. Now, I don't care what kind of skin you have. If you don't have the oil on your skin, you're going to break out. I bet you anything you want. I don't care what you put on your skin, how sensitive your skin. Put the pre-oil. We have Artist Shaving sells one of the best ones on the market. It's $40-$50 for 1 ounce, but it's worth it.
I'm not shaving until I get married. So there you go.
So Trey, you want a beard?
How about that?
I know you ain't going to beard, man. No, you ain't got no beard, man. You got a filter on. You ain't got no real beard, Trey. That's a filter.
Trey, I'm not shaving again until I get down on the knee and propose.
I can't wait to see you with your beard.
Trey, you gonna get a different
filter.
Trey, you gonna get a different class of woman, boy. You leave that beard on them, boy. I'm here to tell you. Hey, you know what I'm saying?
Well,
you gonna get you a woman that like a manly man. You know what I'm saying?
When I was on the police department, I had a beard. I kept a beard on the police department. The only time I shaved it off is when I went back to patrol. But anytime I was in a unit, like a narcotics unit or anything, plain clothes, I had a beard.
I had to see you,
Man.
because I believe you got a filter.
Oh.
I didn't hear him. What did he say?
No, I said I believe you got a filter. I don't believe you gonna grow a beard.
R-Pain growing his beard
I
out.
got a beard.
Trey, I'm just messing with you, man. We've been talking about
I used
women
to-
with filters,
listen,
so I can see you with your filter.
No, this is the thing, Trey. I was so pressed to grow facial hair that when it started growing in, I never touched it.
Okay.
Like I was that kid in high school that was pressed to get some facial hair, bro.
Yeah.
I couldn't, because all my older cousins and my uncles, they all had beard, and their shit was luxurious, Trey. So I'm like, oh, well, I'm gonna look like them. I ain't look nothing like them. I'm gonna look like them. I ain't look nothing like them.
Trey, we had that old Anthony Hamilton bit off on looking beard with the patches. You remember that?
That's me.
Shoot, man, my beard didn't grow until I was 30, man. I said, ain't no sense in me keeping no beard if it's always gonna look like this.
A young beard.
You know?
So you know what I did?
I got mine at 35. I ain't getting no beard.
I rocked a goatee for a long time, and then it sort of started to grow in. And then I let it go from there. But once I discovered, somebody put me on the beard oil and started to moisturize, and they was like, look, you need to take care of your beard the same way you would take care of your hair. At the time I had hair. You take care of your hair. That's when I learned about it. And from then it started to grow in. So I was good.
I got picked on because I couldn't grow no damn beard. Because my younger brother was going beard at the age of 19. I'm still like baby face. So I'm like, how everybody in my family, all the men got beard before me?
It just
I
wasn't
couldn't
your
go
time, brother.
Wait,
it just wasn't your time.
Is that face? You got facial hair?
And Brother David don't nothing about that say baby face.
Man, if you got to do all that, David, man, go put that gun. Put that little gun up.
Don't worry.
Don't shoot that little gun
by
no more.
By tomorrow, I'll cut all of them off to start all over again. I've been doing that every now and then. When I had to cut everything off to start all over again from scratch because it doesn't connect properly.
See, that's when you rock a goatee. You know what I'm saying? That's how I did it for a long time. I had to
A
wait
lot
till
of
my
men-
size grow in, and then just keep rocking the goatee. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So a lot of men have what's called late growth, meaning they have to get into like 6, 8, 2, 3, or 4 months. There are a couple of tricks in that. You can use the demo roller is one of the biggest methods. Or the other two other methods are use 2 different oils. One is called accelerator or growth oil. When big growth, you're not growing hair when you don't have. It just helps you speed up the process a little. So
genetics helps too.
I'm sorry.
I said genetics helps too.
Genetics is the number one. I cannot make you grow hair when you don't have it. It's simple as that. Like if you have I know a guy. He's right here, right under his neck. He had a big round hole. You can't fix that, unfortunately, and that's why he should be rocking a goatee or something else. But it's definitely the type of oil. What kind of? There are a lot of oils out there, but are you buying quality oil? Most 95% of chance you're not buying quality oil because you're not. No, I know what oil. Like I got Dr. Nick's. I get from. I met the guy personally. He has great oil. I get it from Live Bearded. Again, quality company. You can research where they get it from. When you cannot find where the supplier is coming from them, it's not quality. It's probably a lot of silicone in it, and it's gonna fuck up your skin beyond fuck up.
Yeah, the best thing to do is keep your skin clean to allow your pores to let the hair out.
So the other trick is you need to wash your beard every day. I don't care what you do, but you need to get a gentle wash, not a stripping wash. It's 2 different things. And man, I can't remember the name, but Beard Max is one of the few companies that has a gentle daily wash. That's all you need.
Sound like we talking about feminine products now. Gentle wash. I'm a man.
Summer, spring.
I'm gonna laugh my ass when he's covering his face.
Summer's
up.
Eve.
You know
what I'm saying?
All fucked up.
We talking about feminine products.
Sure.
Trey,
don't
move to Texas. It's even worse in Texas, right? There's a whole clinic for beard treatment.
Hey, look! I'm all for it. I mean,
Trey,
there is a distinct difference in a man's appearance when he has a beard versus a baby face. You look tougher, you look stronger, your jawline, it looks better when you have a clean beard. Even when I look at myself, I'm like, yeah, I look way better with a beard. I'll take the beard any day. You know what I mean? I get it.
And square that jawline up. You know what I'm saying? That's what they like.
Agree on something, Trey.
No, you just disagree with me.
No, it's the other way around.
But don't y'all think the face is naturally oily though? Once you hit that sun, regardless
Certain
of all
spots,
those
yeah.
chemicals.
Yeah.
Once you hit that sun, because our face sweats a little bit and dries up, it goes throughout the day. And
Yeah.
I think sometimes, to me, I've seen where those chemicals on your face sort of interact with the sun, and it just starts breaking your skin out. It becomes very sensitive to clothes and different look. I always try to stay away from anything with some type of scent to it, as far as my face.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But mine is pretty much take a bath, take a shower, wash with good dial soap, some of that gold bar. That's good.
Antibacterial. Yeah.
When you have facial problems, use that. Only use a rag for your face if you have to. Exfoliate once or twice a week. Try to stay away from certain chemicals, and your skin will naturally just heal itself.
Yeah.
So
That's facts.
Make sure you drink a lot of water
These ladies should
and get some sunshine.
They should be taking notes. You out here teaching how to. A lot of these women don't know how to clean their face.
Yeah.
Wife school is like, man, being a man is hard.
Yeah, you got to take
we just make it a little easy, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Last time I checked the study, most men are lacking B12, extreme lack. Like,
they better get outside and ride a bike, lift some weights. Shit, you should be in the gym every day. That's how most men, single men, should be in the weight room.
Even the weight, I'm talking about B12 now. From the sun. That's you get it from the sun. A lot of men and women lack it. I mean, like extreme lack to the point you need to be on supplements.
So that's why I have D3.
Yep.
You got to have that, man.
Especially in the winter months. I don't need it as much because I spend a lot of time in the sun, especially just mowing my grass 2 or 3 days a week. So I'm in there. But yeah, in the winter months, because not only for your skin but depression. They said that why do people get depressed, because you're not getting that sun exposure. So yeah, you definitely need to up your D in the winter.
And in order for it to work, you got to make sure you got calcium, magnesium, and zinc to unlock the D. You know what I'm saying? You got to have to unlock the D. You know what I'm saying?
So Mr. Bennett,
to make it work.
Are you encouraging men to get in these streets? Is that what you're saying? Get out of these streets.
At least get.
I said mowing the lawn. I didn't say get out of the streets.
Go mow somebody.
Like I said, me out now. Like I said, when I get hardcore about it, I'll put that 50-pound, 60-pound weight vest on. And then that's what really cranks it up then. So I'll get out there 90 degrees in that 50-pound weight vest. And yeah, I'm coming out just drenched after that. But yeah, I'll just,
You hear that, fellas?
Do that.
Mow that lawn, put 50-pound weight vest.
There you go, bro.
Work that on.
Hey, David, I have a great idea. I know you're trying to lose some weight right now. There's a bunch of grass needs that can be cut around here.
Trust me. If I come to cut grass over there, the whole lady be coming out of their house. So don't let me come over to that area.
I don't give a shit about me. I live in a complex. I was like, there are other houses around here.
I'm just letting you know. If I want to cut grass, I'm not gonna do it in the American way. I'm gonna do it in the African way. And a lot of these men gonna lose their wives. So don't stop.
You gonna bring out the goats and let them herd.
Wait.
I'll tell you, cut the
bring out the goats and let them herd.
Yeah, you gonna use goats and let them eat the grass.
We don't use goats.
David standing out there in the front yard with his shirt off. I am a good.
Unfortunately, it's super tight around here.
The original lawnmower man.
Oh God.
Think about, Black David. You're so manly.
For real, man.
But anyway, guys.
I'm glad you said that because I remember a few years back, I was working in Best Buy. This dude was not trying to help me to lift the TV. He would ask his girl to lift the TV with me. With like a 40-inch TV back in the day, heavy with the back.
So yeah, especially if it was the plasma one, yeah.
He pissed me off. He was holding the door of the back of the SUV. So his wife can help me. I got pissed though. I said, "No, move out of here." I picked the whole damn TV, lifted it, put it in the back of the truck. The woman looked at her man like he's a punk. Went to the driver's seat, take out her purse, and give me $50. Look at me like this, like nigga.
I told you.
I'm sorry. I embarrass men in front of their women. I do that on a regular.
Black David had the strength of 1,000 goats.
Oh my gosh, man! Yeah, well, we are at the midnight
Oh
hour. I don't
God.
know how long you guys want to go tonight. First of all, we appreciate you guys coming up and supporting us. Again, you guys tend to come on through on Sunday nights, and again, I know it's just, for a lot of us, it's the start of the work week and whatnot. So for you guys just to hang out with us, it really means a lot that you edify the show. With you guys coming up, but I would like to hear from you guys. Like I said, we're always looking to take on positive critique. Anything we've talked about, a whole range of things. Again, from a Greek American perspective, from an African American perspective, or whatnot. Any topics, any things that you would like us to cover in the future, or how can we make the show better? We just want to continue to offer a quality product. So any advice that you guys would share with us would be greatly appreciated.
Hey, Paul, I just came out with a great topic coming up. Grooming.
Oh boy.
What
That
are you
will
talking
be
about?
we need some grooming expert beside you. You might have a different
Hey, my fault.
opinion.
I'm a kick-ass person when it comes down. My buddy's Northbeard. He was in here. He has actually a very good company will come into his beard. So maybe I asked him to come up too.
That
You hear
work.
that,
That
fellas?
work.
We want to get to the point on the grooming.
That'll work.
Hey, Mr. Ben, I got a topic for you. Did you hear about the debacle at Howard University?
No, I know. I think the president has spoken there. I didn't get all the deets. I've been running all weekend pretty much.
When you get a chance, read about
I'll check it out.
The graduation ceremony that did not happen, and the chaos that ensued.
I read it.
At
Bad.
Howard
It was
University
bad.
because they overbooked and people weren't allowed inside the auditorium. Eventually turned into a bunch of broken glass, people getting arrested, the whole nine. And then the dean of nursing basically said, well, since our family members can't behave themselves, that's it. This is over. Nobody's walking across. And I felt really bad for one of the women there because she is the class of 2020. So
they didn't get a chance to walk.
She didn't get a chance to walk in high school, and she didn't get a chance to walk in college either.
Wow.
So, and she graduated magna cum laude. So she's been working her ass off to be at the top, and she didn't get a chance to walk across, not once but twice. So I was like, damn. Normally I wouldn't get wrapped up. I was like, man, that's kind of messed up. I kind of felt bad for her.
Yeah.
But if you want to, that's an interesting topic to talk about from a standpoint of, who you point the finger at. Me personally, I was looking at. I think the administration's at fault. They should have worked that out. But I won't excuse. I won't excuse the poor behavior. I won't excuse the poor behavior of the crowd. But I think the administration dropped the ball there. And this is also, by the way, this is the alma mater of Diddy, who's in the news right now, and our vice president Kamala Harris. She's also an alumni there, so
yeah.
It's an interesting little story.
For sure. Thank you. Trey Ferg, any?
I mean, as far as the topics, man, I think y'all do a good job of just letting them evolve as y'all go. We get enough conversation about the chaos, and what I'm saying, as far as within the social abnormalities of the communities that we in.
Right.
I think, as far as topics, y'all do a good job of just letting them come to y'all week to week, and y'all focusing it on, just being better as men, just being better as individuals. So I have no advice in regards to that. I'm always just happy to come on and give my twos and views, whether it's beneficial to someone. I don't know if it is, but and Trey's right as far as the dating scene, it's changing, but I still believe that even in the change, at one time we were married at over 50%. So those numbers are good across the board, especially in our community. I'll take 50%, but right now we're at 20%.
Yeah.
So really everybody's moving in this scarcity mindset, but everybody's still fucking. That's the crazy part. And ain't nothing wrong with the sex part. But again,
can't stop that.
As we move into our next millennial or so, we focus on the riches. And we know, just based off, if you look over time and, particulars within our culture, without unions in marriage, then we still continue to just dwindle financially as a group.
Right.
It still seems to be on the lowest end, as far as family income. Less people are buying houses, able to buy houses and build foundational wealth for their children because everybody's focused on me, me, me. Fuck the kids, fuck a relationship, but I'm a fuck. That's just, from what I see. And now, would that help the future? No. So that's why I think this space is good. It's not about bashing nobody, holding everybody accountable. The topics could just flow, man. It evolves,
I'm thinking it's look into the realm of dating those in different culture. What are the pros and cons about it? But not just in America. Like, what are like if dating people in Greek, and what if you date someone from
right. I was actually thinking about that as a topic coming up.
I was thinking you need to get people from other ethnic groups who come on the panel and they could
for
talk
sure.
About
yeah.
What it like someone from another.
I've been trying to get more people on here, but
yeah. I mean that was like I said.
A lot of people don't want to be on some of this stuff. They feel like they don't want to put themselves out there, and you are putting yourself out there. Let's be straight up about that.
Right. Which is one of the reasons why we strive to have like I said, a safe environment. We had the pleasure of having Grooming's minister's pastor, his church father on the show, and I wanted to assure him before he came on is that we're going to have a decent, a dignified, and respectful place to have a conversation for him to share about his Eastern Orthodox tradition or Greek Orthodox tradition, which I was not very familiar with. So the idea is that we want to have, I would love to have Ekene on because and really get the conversation going between him and David, the Europa Igbo East Coast West Coast beef. I'd love to kind of get that going. But the whole idea of the show is to have this cultural exchange because I think there's things that we can learn from other people how we're different, but at the same time I think what's also came through is how very much we're the same. We're human beings at the end of the day, and a lot of things that we may bring up as these dividing issues really are not. So again, the idea, if we can just have a conversation, we just listen to one another and let people share their worldview. I think is a positive environment that we want to create here. So you're right. So we do stay away from a lot of the news or the gossip or whatever. We're just trying to get to know each other as better and how to have a proper conversation without it going left in all these different directions. But we would love to have a lot more ethnicities represented. I would love to have an Asian man up here. I would love to have a Muslim man, an Arab.
I would say
a
person
up here.
Have Hot Sauce be on the panel because he worked in Shanghai, China, so he might be familiar with culture out there because he did mention something about there was a fake rumor going on in the social media about they want people to come to Japan, and he confirmed that's not true. When they did their homework, but they're a very unique culture, different over there when they have people who are not from the Japanese heritage or culture, they're within their culture. And there's a unique name they gave to people who are from mixed race, whereby you have Japanese and have something else. So I'm hoping that people can come over to the platform and we talk about those differences, the pros and cons when dating someone from an African American background to an African background, from a Greek background, and so on. What are the easy route you can take, or what are the lessons you can learn?
Right. And right. Go ahead.
You want to go ahead first? You go first.
No, and it's weird because a lot of that stuff is kind of funny to me to an extent because certainly as an ADOS, we come into this mix. We didn't have a choice in the matter. So we talk about when people talk about tribal differences or on the outside how people look, if you're Japanese, Chinese, Taiwanese, all those different things, it's kind of foreign to us to an extent because we were never allowed to have that level of detail with our ethnicity. So we formed a sort of like a black identity, but it's still interesting how in these cultures where those things are still very important, even within a tribal situation. You talk about Black David, even within Igbos, there's classes, there's levels. And in terms of the criteria that by which people get together. So for us, it's just like do you like the person or not? Do they look good? And do they have the character that you want?
Igbo don't date Yoruba, and then Yoruba don't date Igbo. For what reason? I don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
They're a unique class from culture, even though we're all within the same country, but we're different clans.
Yeah.
Now the younger generation don't care anymore. They date anyone within Africa. They don't
Right.
care.
Right.
I'm from Nigeria and you from Ghana or you from Uganda. The young generation say F that because we're not going on this small separatist mindset because they were getting tired for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Well, I
I
mean,
think
you were
that was
gonna. Yeah.
the topic.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say, anybody wants to come on, you're welcome. Me and Paul will guarantee your what's the word I'm looking for? Be comfortable. You're not gonna be get bashed or anything like that.
Right.
I'm like,
Right.
Father Costantino was a perfect example. Nobody got bashed. Everybody respectful. If you're gonna bash, I'm telling you, I know Black Dev's behind the scenes, hanging in the tech stuff. I just have to just do my little whistle or get my phone down, and he knocks the person right off. Simple as that. It's not no questions about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was very. It was very good when Peter told me that even Father Costantino came on. He had actually shared the link that said, "Hey, I had this conversation with these men to check out the show." So I felt very good about that we made him comfortable enough that he could share to share the content. So
then we hit the newspapers too on top of that.
Yeah. So we want that kind of environment. We want natural conversations to happen, people to talk from a level of honesty and authenticity. And, and let's just learn from one another rather than saying, well, no, you're wrong or you guys are doing it wrong or whatever. Let's just find out first how people are doing it. And if there's something we can learn from that, I'd be like, oh, great, and where we disagree, we can respectfully disagree. So this is just a dialogue. And again, I continue to thank Grooming for inviting me to this. He's the one, he reached out to me and said, hey, like, I want to do this show. And, so certainly I appreciate he reached out. And I've enjoyed. I've every conversation that we've had in this space. I've truly enjoyed it, and certainly want to use this as a benefit to certainly to the BMU network. Having a positive contribution. But Lost, I'd really appreciate your input, sir. Your wisdom is always appreciated in any environment and climate that I've ever been in. And like I said, the fact that you took your time to be here tonight means a lot to us. So anything you'd like to share on how we can make this better.
You know what? Here's the thing, man. What I love about what you guys do is y'all make it organic, man.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I've noticed is that we're focusing on more of how can we contribute versus how can somebody contribute to us. And I think that takes a lot more skill into figuring exactly what you can offer to somebody else versus what somebody else can offer you. That's a different type of energy. I mean, it's easier to receive, you know what I mean? But it's different when you have to give.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do give, you have to be aware, hey, am I giving something of value to the other person? And I think if we start moving in that direction where most people want to give versus take, I think we'll probably have a better environment as far as relationships goes. And as far as, relationships across the aisle, you know what I mean? I think that's one of those things we have to start thinking about. Hey, what do I have to offer, the group? And I think that helps a lot too. So it helps us to also get better at what we're doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Are we aware of how we look? Are we aware of how we sound? You know what I mean? Are we aware of how we make other people feel?
Mm-hmm.
And there are certain situations where I may have to put my foot down from time to time in case somebody wants to overtalk somebody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like that ain't how we're gonna roll over here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We're gonna let people complete what they got to say, and then we'll let you have the floor. But having genuine and honest conversations is one of our hallmarks that I do believe that we can hang our hat on. And for that, I do take my hat off to you, gentlemen. I appreciate that a lot.
Appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Lost, I gotta give you credit too. I've been with you guys for almost a year now.
Yeah.
And you are one of the most calmest person that I never seen you lose your temper. And some situations like, oh shit, but you're the most calmest person. You always make sure it's even, and you always send us back to middle when you're running a host. You're hosting. Sometimes being busy with the 100 million things he's doing. Right. I gotta give credit was due, man.
Yeah, it's a masculine energy. Like there's this book I read one time. It's A Man of Steel and Velvet. And it is something that you exhibit naturally. You don't have to ask anyone for respect. it's just something that brings with you, and people act accordingly.
Right.
And it's just something that is, when I talk about, what manhood truly is, I think you're certainly a bright example of that. So many brothers can learn from your model. And I know you work with young men, and the work that you've done, through your church and through your life. That is, I think, the kind of energy that I think a lot of young men especially, could really model after. So I definitely appreciate that about you.
Appreciate it. And one of the things I try to teach people is that you don't always have to have all the right answers. Sometimes you just might need to ask somebody else for help from time to time.
That's true.
And I think
100%.
sometimes, as men, we forget that. And always give credit to people, man, when it's due. You know what I mean? Get good at giving people credit. You know what I'm saying? That's one of those things that people will love to have you around if they know that you're going to give them credit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it helps build up the community. I think that's one of the things we have to get better at. And I think it's one of the things that we can really hang our hat on as far as gentlemen in this space, is making sure that we A, are respectful, and B, we recognize everybody's point of view, because everybody has a different point of view. Nobody has lived the same life. So it's interesting to hear different stories from different people. And if you ever watch me, most of the time I'm usually quiet and I pick my spots. You see what I'm saying? So I like to listen, because I like to listen to hear what other people have been through. And sometimes you'll get nuggets. You have to, speak a little bit, and you'll drag a few nuggets out. Because anytime I listen to you, Mr. Bennett, I'm always pulling nuggets. I'm like, man, that was good. You just don't know how smooth that was. You know what I mean? And sometimes I may stop the conversation and say, hey, that went over y'all head. Think about that for a minute. Listen to what he just said.
I've heard
that
you
was
say
a
that
whole
several
bar.
times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And I don't want
call you
anybody
the
to walk
assassin.
over what you just said. You know what I'm saying? Because it was needed to be said, and pause. Because sometimes we get in situations where everybody wants to have their say so, but sometimes we got to give each other their moment, and let that sink in, because you don't want to walk over somebody else's point.
Right.
I would say this show is more unique show I've heard so far, because for one, on the multiple topic you guys have spoken on, it's more of a learning experience, because where you dissect the topic, it'll be education, it'll be parenting, it'll be the upbringing. It kind of like make us want to be partaking in the conversation. We try to look back on our own upbringing, like, wait a minute, mine might be a little similar to the Greek side, but not more on this. Then you start to narrow it down. We're like, wait a minute, whoa, I didn't. These type of conversations I miss having or seeing, because it make you want to be quiet, start taking note, and start jotting things down, and start look on your own list, like, what could I do different here? Because, like Lord just said, we are all not the same. We come from different paths in life, and I've learned that from my uncle. He always taught me that. Be willing to listen to another person. Let their life lesson be your lesson to learn from, because you can pick a couple of more nuggets that you can imagine and add it to your plate, and maybe share yours as well. Be willing to give, not always asking for receive. I think to have that. I'm thinking you need to have one from the female aspect, from different culture, and see if they do such a thing too, because you guys are very unique, and I'm enjoying it.
Yeah. And that's a great dear also. And again, this is not a purely man show. Certainly we welcome, especially from women of different cultures and whatnot, perspectives. We welcome that also. Because I think men and women need to get better at talking to each other, especially with all the drama we've seen in these spaces as of late as well. So,
Right.
So definitely we all need to get better at men and women having the conversation. But again, we appreciate that. And again, we're always going to be striving. Again, grooming comes up with these ideas, and I'm like, where did that come from? But he lands them. So I give him credit. He,
Right.
all the shows we've done, I think there might have been one show where I made suggestions. Hey, we need to talk about this. But most of the shows, these were his brainchild. That we came up with this, and the way that we sort of rolled out the shows, that was all grooming. And so again, I just appreciate you for allowing me to be a part of the conversation. But I think we're going to close that grooming. I'm going to give you the floor to say your final thoughts, and let's close this out for this week.
So the creative idea, so everybody knows this, I don't flow. I don't have a plan. I usually just wing it. As I'm winging it, we're talking about subjects. Lost might say, BMU might say, David might say, Paul might say, or pain. Somebody might say something on my ding. Ooh, that might work. That's how I come with it. Bringing Paul, we vibed from the start. We had a lot of things in common and stuff like that. It clicked. And the history. That's all I can say. So this is open for anybody. I welcome anybody. I want to learn from you guys. As much as you guys learn from me, I want to learn from you guys. Like, yeah, I might be the Casper one around here, but you know what? I take it. But
and I'm the total opposite.
You're something with lips. Don't do any more cannibals during summertime in New York, man.
I don't smoke. They're my natural lips.
Those are lips. Well, you've been
like they say, darker the berry, sweeter the juice. You touch me, you get diabetes.
Oh man.
Oh man.
On that. Well, on those notes, we're gonna close out the show. Yeah. I am Mr. Bennett. He is Grooming and Reviews 101, aka the Ghost of Sparta, aka Peter, aka
Sparta!
This is the gray area. We'll see you guys next week. Take care. God bless. You guys be cool. Take care.